streaming plugin. And now I need to go to the live streaming other account page so that I can, oh no, I actually don't need to go to this one anymore. That's right. I don't need to touch this one. I don't need to touch that one because Social Stream Blade will be able to find it, I think. This says auto activate, but I don't think it's going to auto activate. I think every time I got to click on the auto find and activate button. No new streams for Obother VOD, but I can see it right there. Try again. Still doesn't find any. I see it. It's right here. What? Look, there it is. It's right here. Try it again. There it goes. There it goes. There we are. We'll just hide it in there, and then that'll show up in the things. Not much today, just snoozing. Sometimes you gotta snooze. That's kind of what I was doing yesterday. I had kind of a executive malfunction, so to speak, and decided that I wasn't up to streaming. And to think I would have caught this comment sooner. This is not to my time standards. I thought I was watching a tutorial. 2 days ago, though, and the video is probably years old because I think it was taking apart the bug assault. I think that's what there was a lot of commentary on the bug assault video. I guess for some reason the algorithm caught on to that one and it got some extra views. I think I've managed to come before the intro window closes. Well, I thank you for understanding what stream starts soons mean. Stream starts soon means. There we go. Discovered my boiler's broken. Home repair stuff will put you under, and you got to stay on top of that stuff or else you're going to be destitute in the middle of the winter. We just bought, actually it's probably like a year ago now. I think it's been a little over a year. We bought a totally new air handler for the whole house. The central air system. We bought a new one, which is ridiculously expensive, but we have had both the coldest and the hottest weather we've seen around here in a long time, and it was nice to know that thing was rock solid, at least so far as new appliances are concerned. I hear people's fridges are going out in like 2 years these days. I still think of you in the old house. I haven't seen that place. I would describe it to you, but then all of the GeoGuessers would start jumping on Google Maps and finding out exactly precisely where I live, and I don't want that to happen. But this is we're sort of like really close to the house next to us, and there's just like a little alleyway in between the two houses. It's much different from the other house, which was a suburban house in the middle of a decently sized plot. We're already in your walls. I know, seriously. Some of those GeoGuessers are like, did I see a leaf outside of that window? I know precisely what street they're on. I bought an AC about 3 to 4 years ago, and it's struggling already. Ugh, keep the filters clean. That's the only thing I can say about that. That thing should be well broken in with 3 to 4 years of use. Oh boy, I'm not looking forward to this. This is why we're doing this today, is that I really don't want to do this. I want to do everything in my power to avoid this specific project, because I don't know what I'm doing, but the results will be really cool. Speaking of fridges going out, LG knowingly sold millions of bad bad Freon compressors. Really? They're doing a lot of that stuff these days. These corporations are getting away with a lot lately. They're getting bold. They're getting bold. And then, who is it? Samsung, was it? For their fridge? Or they at least have, I think, the product in mind that they're now putting tablets on fridges. That's not a new thing. That's been happening for quite some time. I'm just an old man locked in his ways. But they have tablet computers on these fridges now, and they're going to make them run ads. And so your refrigerator will run an ad. I hope to little baby Jeebus that nobody freaking buys that crap. Because you're more important than having an ad on your fridge. You need to have a little bit more self-respect. Yeah, just put some gaff tape over the screen. But have some respect for yourself, people. Don't buy this crap. If it's $5.99 for an entire refrigerator, maybe I would consider it. But Roku TV running ads all the time. Yeah, the TV things, they lured us away from cable to say, hey, you can subscribe to just this content you love, and you go, okay, that sounds cool. And then they're like, by the way, there's ads. Twitch has ads now. They tore us away from cable with the promised land of little to no advertisement, and then they decide, you know, my bottom line could really use some ad money. It sucks. It's one of the biggest things that I hate about Twitch now is that they're running ads regardless of whether or not I tell them to. And I've turned off all of the advertisement stuff that I can, but it's still pervasive. It still leaks in. Put that off. I don't need to have that the whole stream. I'm glad I'm not the kind of person who would ever buy a network connected kitchen appliance. You see, the thing is, what they do is they lure you and they say, hey, you can know when somebody's using using the dishwasher in the house, which I like. I would love those features, just not the phone home features that they always have, right? And then eventually the advertisement features that they build into it. What I want is the connected stuff that allows me to know if I'm using somebody else's hot water, or if I need to delay this load of wash by 2 hours because somebody's taking a shower, right? Like, those are the things that are possible in a smart home. We got to do it ourselves now. And there are tools where you can do it yourself. All the Node-RED stuff that I'm doing, all the Tasmodus stuff, all the ESP32 things, you can take control. You can take control of your smart home. You don't need to buy smart appliances necessarily in order to accomplish that. It would have been nice if we could have had that sort of low-level takeover ability on the appliance's features. I would let it get on my Wi-Fi if it weren't so insidious. But yeah, nowadays, if you're going to do smart home stuff, buy another router. Don't hook it up to the internet. Let it do all of the sort of WAN stuff for you. I just got rid of my affiliate. I'm going to put a tip button on there if somebody wants to tip specifically to get rid of ads. Interesting. So when you're not affiliate, yeah, because that, like, yeah, if you have like 4 viewers or like 10 or 20 viewers, getting rid of all that stuff, I guess, would free up all of the. But don't they still run pre-roll at that level? I'm not sure. Bosch dishwasher with the network features cannot run a rinse only cycle without creating an account and activating an internet connection. Ugh. Oh, that makes my head hurt. There has to be a world in which we don't have to buy that stuff. And I guess in that world you would implant your own. No ads at all with standard. Interesting. That's very interesting. Even on mobile, I never get Twitch ads. Oh, I'm inundated with them. I'm running that script that keeps it basically drops your Twitch quality whenever there's an ad running. I just gave up and put it on 3 mins per hour to disable pre-rolls. 3 minutes per hour. Yeah, 3 minutes is still, it's harsh. I hate it. Ad block for Twitch through uBlock. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. I think we got Origin on the Firefox on this one now. Sorry, I'm going through the comments that I missed while I was rambling. I'm glad I'm not the kind of person who would ever buy a network connected kitchen appliance. I don't know who is. That's actually relevant for one of my old jobs at the FBI. We were researching getting vehicle forensics from all of these electronic systems in cars. And like when I plug my phone into my car, which I don't do, when I plug my phone into my car and I unplug my phone and walk away, what's left? What's still in there? Is there a list of contacts? Can you get a list of contacts? Can you get previously dialed phone numbers? Can you get GPS coordinates that the car had been at? And so we try to get in there and do the vehicle forensics. And it turns out this sort of realm of vehicle hacking, which was a relatively new thing back when I did this research in like 2010. At that time, there were ways to sort of get in at a different location of the totem pole of electronics, because when cars are built, you are built off of previously existing systems. We know this works, we're going to use this, but then we want a more complicated front end, and then we want a tire pressure monitoring system, and et cetera, et cetera. And you're putting these modules into your CAN bus And there are multiple CAN buses in cars. You got a couple CAN buses, but there's like high and low priority CAN bus, and there's a means by which to send software by just plugging into the OBD port. So if you know, sort of carnally know these systems, you can take the tire pressure monitoring receiver, for example, reprogram it, and it can be your stepping stone into that car's digital systems. Unlock the windows, roll down the windows. If you can get into the high priority CAN bus, you really need to have like carnal knowledge. You need to be like one of the engineers that designed these cars, but you could reprogram a system that gets you to the high priority CAN bus. And then you can do things like activate ABS and do all kinds of nefarious car stuff that way too. But it takes some really expert knowledge of low level stuff in the car. But it's brought to you by our it's brought to you by the onward march of technology, needing to have new and impressive toys in your car that aren't necessarily secured well enough. New category on Twitch, carnal knowledge of electronics. I'll tell you what carnal knowledge of electronics gets you. You know what it gets you? It gets you this comment on one of your videos. And I only regret having tied down that user and made them watch my video, my 4.5-hour video. That's my only regret. Donk. Hang on a sec. Hey man, as long as it's all consensual, right? All right, I have one YouTube viewer. It's probably me. It's probably my own YouTube front end watching the video. That'll, you know, maybe we'll get 4 people watching on YouTube at some point. The funny thing is, the Twitch numbers drop drastically when I'm not co-streaming to YouTube. Like, we've got a good crowd here going, right? Like, when I don't co-stream to YouTube, the crowd size is tiny. I don't understand. Some people like to talk and others like to listen. Is that a song lyric? I think that sounds like a song lyric. All right, let's get to work here. What is start soon? What does it mean? Dear intrepid viewer, I regret to inform you that the second you start streaming, not everybody is here and or listening or cares. And so it would behoove you, if you ever get into streaming, dear viewer, who is confused about start soon, it helps massively to have like a start soon portion of the stream. Some streamers just put a timer up on an overlay. They are doing exactly what I'm doing. It's just that they don't have any sort of an obligation to talk to people. I enjoy talking to my crowd as I put things together and start to get the stream ready and going. So when I'm micing up, all that other stuff, I like to be able to talk to you guys, and it makes it kind of a little bit more personal, and I get to know my audience and all that stuff. This is not a tutorial. I am not making a YouTube video. I am addressing you guys because that's who I'm streaming to. That's the difference between streaming and YouTube videos is, you know, the cutting room floor does not exist, and we've got this personal feel to it. So if somebody says, what does start soon mean? Well, I can explain it right then and there. And then just because so many people ask, what I have is in Node-RED, I have something that's monitoring whether or not this scene is going. And if this scene is going and somebody here says start soon, damn it, I'll do it. Oh, there we go. It'll petulantly blow up that scene to be the entire screen without explaining anything. I should probably put like a giant paragraph of what I just said and have that flash up on the screen. Sir or ma'am, start soon indicates that I'm not going to do that. That's just making it blow up is better. I don't know what people expect, or they probably just don't think before asking. That it's like a really common thing with streamers is that before the stream starts, you will put up something like a splash screen, and sort of I took my idea of what to do from previously recorded live. What they would do is just talk to everybody for a little while, and while they're setting up and making sure everything is working. They had a very minimal streaming setup, and I really wish they could have figured out what an audio compressor was, because Rich Evans's voice is able to penetrate time and space. It works on Star Trek subspace, right? You can mute your speaker setup and you'll still hear Rich Evans laugh. Like it for some reason, it exists at the perfect frequencies of sort of the level of pro/consumer audio equipment that we all use. Boy, if they could have figured out a compressor, that would have been nice, because their audio levels are all over the place. I hear BTTV has an audio compressor in it, so I may, or one of those YouTube tools has like an audio compressor. I might try that out, because I tried to listen to some of their old streams just for nostalgia's sake, because they were like, it was like 10 years ago. That was a long time ago. And whenever somebody says idea, this light lights up. Yeah, it would have been nice to have a little bit more audio compression, because it was a little painful to listen to some of those streams. What happened to me is I consider the pre-stream talking and troubleshooting to be actual content, so I thought the stream had actually started, and stream starts soon banner was actually left on. No, I'll know. I know. You said you had no idea what I was talking about. I see you are an intelligent man and are probably good in logic. Yeah, I was actually, I don't even know it. I don't even know it. But there was one time when the mill, like a switch on the mill went bad, and we were able to troubleshoot that thing pretty quickly. And actually a YouTube commenter picked up on that and was like, this is like one of the best troubleshooting things that I've ever seen. Like that we were able to drill down all the way to a bad contact in a switch in like a couple minutes with the multimeter, just because something weird happened to my mill. That mill is due for a full rebuild. Maybe we'll do that someday, is fully rebuild this puppy right here. It might require me to have a hoist, although I think I can break down little bits of it, because we need to tune in all of the slides and make sure that it doesn't move like that anymore. We need to fix the DRO. I need to re-grease the whole thing. Mill the sub the mills. I'm not going to necessarily CNC it, but the temptation is there for me to start looking at CNCing that. I think as a manual mill, it's probably more useful, but I do have all the stuff that I would need to CNC it. And I've even got like gear reduction drives that I could do. 7TV has a simple compressor, but there's a great standalone audio compressor browser extension. Ooh, that sounds neat. It kind of sounds like my VSTs though, which makes it a little bit annoying, but as a browser extension, maybe I could, because you can turn it on and off, so maybe I could just turn it on for that. I tried to rewatch like the Critical Role streams from the early days when they were in like the weird set that they started off on, and their audio compression really was bad. It would be like super whisper quiet, and I'd turn it up so I can just start to hear people, and then it would be so loud that the speakers would crackle. It's really, really, really bad. So I wonder if I need to get something like that. That would be Chrome Web Store. Oh, I'm in Firefox. We just switched to Firefox last stream. It was very painful, but only painful because I was streaming while I was switching to Firefox. I didn't expect that to be needed. It's just that in order to have people tell me that I look like Steve Wozniak again, I need to have Firefox, because Chrome shut down some of those features that enabled the chat thing to go up. The problem is this is still running on Chromium. This is Chromium right here. It works great, but it's still like the underlying thing about this is that it's still Chrome. So I don't know what they did in order to enable their plugin here, but whatever. We're running Chrome. We're running Firefox for everything else. You remind me of Steve Wozniak. I think I'm a little bit more like outspoken and loud maybe sometimes. At least on Twitch I am. That was a delayed fart. Oh yeah, are they stuck in the pipe? It shouldn't. I mean, Node-RED should be pretty good at policing itself and making sure that things are operating properly. So hey, what are we working on? And by the way, calling me Steve Wozniak, I think I should take that as a big compliment. I think. I just wish I had. I wish I'd gotten in early on some kind of a giant, huge money-making deal like he did. I'm just a Steve Jobs away from being psychotically rich, right? Here's the problem: is we got to calibrate this camera. Hold on. Setup. I've got Stream Deck buttons to help me with this. One sec. Micro procedure. So that brings the Logitech camera through a bunch of steps. If you were to start streaming today and you wanted to buy a setup, don't buy the Logitech cameras that I use. Do not the Logitechs. They are good for 1080p. I think they've gotten cheap, but they require a little bit of massaging to get working properly. Have you looked at N8 Node-RED replacement opportunity? I've not dug into it, and I'm not saying use that instead of this. I don't know anything about anything, man. Like, when software projects are released and new stuff comes about, I'm the last person to know. The problem we're having is that we've got this like 800 pin cable on the Raspberry Pi 3B plus. We're swapping out the 3B plus for a 5. What we're going to do with the Raspberry Pi 5 is we are going to try, and emphasis on try, to get this right here, this little buddy right here, our little buddy. Hold on. Why does it take 4.5 hours for this guy to say something? I'm doing all my own camera work, bud, and I'm not running off of a script. I don't know what I'm supposed to say now. Is this too many words, or will not enough do? I'm freezing up. I don't know what to say. Okay, so anyway, what we're doing is we're using a Raspberry Pi 5, because the Raspberry Pi 5 can run openGL, I think like 2.1 or something like that. OpenGL is a way for us to do graphics. That's the G and GL's graphics. So 3D graphics. Why do we need 3D graphics if we are making a static RGB display? Well, the reason that we need OpenGL is because 8&8 looks amazing. I'll have to take a look at that. Is the Pi 5 reliably in stock? I found one a while ago. We only need one. I probably need to buy another one at some point just so I have an extra. But the Pi 5 can run OpenGL. That's 3D graphics. Why do we need 3D graphics? A project called Project M uses graphics style stuff in order to run milk drop plugins. Because back when we all had Voodoo 3s and stuff, we would run Winamp, and then we got milk drop on Winamp, and Winamp would whip the llama's ass. Well, no, it would play music. I don't know, where did that come from? We would play music, and then we would have these Project M plugins that we would trip out to. And you'd watch these really cool sort of graphical layer style things happening on the screen that were reacting to the music. I wanted to take Project M and put it on a little tiny cheapo computer and have that run an LED display, because the last time I used Winamp plugins, I made a Washers game, and it used a lot of processing programs on a desktop, full desktop computer in order to pull pixels out of the project, or out of the Winamp milk drop display, and then put it into something called ArtNet, where it would be pushed out to a bunch of pixels. And then using the processing, whenever somebody tossed a washer in a can, if it hits off the can, a piezoelectric sensor would notice that and send a ripple down the LEDs. And this was done with LED strips, so it's far fewer LEDs than this thing. But what I found out is that running Milk Drop meant that I could choose which visualizations would be run, and I could hand pick the ones that translated over to individual spaced out RGB pixels nicely. And what that does is that gives you a cohesive display that's doing complicated visuals on your RGB LEDs. It means that you can exercise the full breadth and width of the LED's capabilities without having it just do a rainbow, right? Like all of the, we get stuck in this thing over here with like computers and stuff. We had all these RGB displays, but we don't do anything more complicated than just have it cycle RGB. It's like, why did Corsair get to have the RGB cycle as their thing? It's because they put RGB LEDs and everything, and then they lacked the creative ability to expand beyond that with a cohesive visual. Some systems have broken out of that, I've seen, but not really in any meaningful way. So what I'd like to do on the front of Burn the Subs, and maybe we can expand it to other stuff later. You talk too much. Maybe we can expand it later, but I would like to get OpenGL running on this thing, and then we have what's called Project M. Project M is the legacy of Milk Drop, and it's not totally supported everywhere. What it is a C++ library or API or whatever that you can call upon in order to easily run Milkdrop plugins. VLC uses it. You can get Milkdrop plugins in VLC through Project M, I guess. I want it to run on this system, and then Burn the Subs is also going to go on this system. The means by which of creating G-code, G-code to run my XY laser table, quote unquote, that's on my wall in order to burn the names of subscribers onto a big block of wood. So this is in line with all the stuff that I wanted to do with Burn the Subs. I wanted to have a program that would run on the Raspberry Pi 24/7, using up a little bit of the power supply's power, but also making sure that this thing is still, you know, agile and able and ready to go, so that I don't get caught with my pants down when I start streaming and I suddenly realize, oh no, the Raspberry Pi's broken. It'll help me know that it's not working faster, right? Project Lambda. It's Project M. M is for milk. So what you guys saw at the beginning of this is myself nearly cutting my thumb completely open, trying to unplug a 10,000 pin flat cable. I think I'm going to use a tool because I'm a human being. Humans use tools to help them. Yeah, part of streaming is the live stuff, the little things that happen in the interim here. It's not just me silently taking apart a device, and it's not me just giving you like tutorial instructions. It's interacting with the peoples. So yeah, let's set up this Raspberry Pi. I mean, does this need a heatsink? I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, eventually. We'll find out eventually, because I don't think I have total, like, I don't have 10,000 extras. Project M is on Steam? Ah, Project M Music Visualizer. Look at that. So I guess maybe I could install an OS onto the Raspberry Pi, and it's possible that the OS would be able to run Project M. I don't want to do that though. That's a lot like what I did with the processing program, but that was a lot of hullabaloo. I want this to just natively run the visualizer and then also run Burn the Subs. So it's going to be like a system kind of thing going on. And I don't know, Project M says it uses C++, so I don't know if we can put that, I don't think we can get that through Python. It would have been nice if it was Python, because I'm much more familiar with Python on the Raspberry Pi than I am with C++. But we'll get into this in just a minute. First, we got to get our headless OS on this Pi, and we need to be able to get into it with WinSCP. So what are you going to do? Just add some additional features to your video card? No. So Burn the Subs is a wall-mounted XY laser that is sitting behind me. I should say it's mounted behind me on the wall. And that XY table will automatically burn subscriber names onto itself with a little bit of art direction from me. We are going to, presumably, we haven't done anything to that tune yet, run it with Clipper. Clipper runs off of a Raspberry Pi. Clipper will manage moving around our XY table and deal with inertia and PWM signals that it should be sending to laser and all that stuff. So this Raspberry Pi will be connected to a 3D printer controller board with all the motor controllers and stuff on it. In addition to that, this Pi will be hooked up to a bunch of screens and stuff. And so what I'd like for this is to be able to give me some kind of a visualization to tell me that the Pi is still running, and have something neat to look at, and yeah, just run that whole show. It's a big comprehensive thing, and it's a lot of work, but we're taking baby steps on our way there. And so part of the baby steps are hooking up a Raspberry Pi and doing some physical computing with it. We got this screen working through Python. We haven't gotten this screen running yet. So that's where this comes in. I needed something that could run openGL. I would have very much liked it if this Pi could have done it. The Raspberry Pi 3B Plus is often more capable than any project that I'm able to throw at it, including this to some degree. But in order to get the visualization on the Raspberry Pi, I need openGL. I don't think this can run openGL 2.1. I don't think it's really up to that challenge. So we'll put the Pi 5 on it, and that'll instantly solve all those problems and give me so much computing overhead, because this is a whole goddamn computer that, yeah. Downloading Project M right now. I want to make something similar. Put up a tutorial. I need that tutorial yesterday, because we're cool like that. Yeah, there you go. I love my 3B Plus. That's the last one with the full-size HDMI. Yeah, I had to buy an adapter in order to run HDMI, because hopefully what we'll be able to do is plug HDMI into this puppy right here, and then I can put a little screen, a little display on it, and we'll see if we can draw a triangle on it. That's sort of our goal here. So anyway, Project M. Oops. No, don't. I thought you would keep up the window. I thought you were like Chrome. You ain't Chrome. I miss my Chrome. No, okay. So Project M. Project Milk Siphon. I don't think this is the right one. Hold on, wait a minute. Project M is a whole website. Yeah, here we go. Is it a mod or a game? It's community. Wait, that's not the right thing. Cross-platform music visualizer. Here we go. I found it. You don't need to link me to it. I got it. I guess that's for everybody else. There's a link right there. Yeah, Project M visualizer. Experience psychedelic and mesmerizing visuals. It is pretty cool, though. I mean, the visuals are pretty awesome. Assuming YouTube ever bothers to load. Like, you got some pretty cool stuff on here. Now, it won't look anything like this on the LEDs, but it will give us a cohesive visualization. So, yeah, you can see just some of the cool things that this is capable of doing. Yeah, well, milk drop. That's what Winamp would use. And so these apparently use some kind of a graphics card layer in order to power some of the complicated things that they do. I'm not that proficient, I'm not that good at programming that I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, anyway, the point is stuff like this, if you peel off the pixels in order, you can get some really, really cool looking stuff going on those LEDs. I should know. I've done it before. But yeah, anyway. Standalone, currently only available as a development preview in Ubuntu 22.04 and compatible distribution Steam, same as the standard development preview. Or check out a distribution, blah, 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 blah. Android, Google Play, free and paid apps, plus the Android TV page are not created. Blah, 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 blah. Source code and other resources aimed at developers. Library source code. Qt5-based Pulse Audio and Jack desktop apps as source code for Linux. What the fuck does that? What does any of that even mean? ALSA, XMMS, Winamp, Jack, Legacy 2.x, Discord chat. Oh no, that's their Discord. Okay. Yeah, so VLC also runs it. But we want to get it running on a standalone Raspberry Pi 5. So I'm going to start with the Raspberry Pi 5 standalone thing. We got to do a couple things in order to get that up and running, and I think that involves a download of the OS. So I'm going to open up the Raspberry Pi flashing tool. That I know I have it installed. What is it called again? Oh, you know what? It wasn't an application. It's actually an application in a folder. Wonder if anybody has made a clone of the Xbox 360 visualizer. I remember that thing. You mean like the hacked one or the regular one? Where is it? It's in here somewhere. We just did a Raspberry Pi stream. Imager, there we go. Kana, and it's in the Microsoft Store. If I were ever to go back to an Xbox, and I'm probably not, I would want the original Xbox visualization for their OS, the green thing with all the weird noises in the background. What's up, Lawn Dog? That did not show up in... Oh, come on, man. Social stream, what are you doing? Oh, you guys have been talking this whole time and we missed all of it. What's up, William and Interdimensional Bakery and Wonky Robot and Lawn Dog? Sorry, I haven't seen your comments because this thing has failed me. Is that running now? I think it's running now. Let me just do a quick little, just hop into YouTube here. Hey, sorry I haven't been chatting with you guys. Test. Why do you not show up on my Streamblade? We had that working the other day. It's just something isn't activating. Oh, let's see. What did I want? Oh, activate source. Yeah, that should be connection mode is already reminder after the window opens, sign in, required and confirm that chat is visible. I don't think I needed to sign in. There's the A, but it's not showing up on screen. Yeah, it's like it has the chat right here. It should be putting it up on screen. My friend had those kinds of visuals after he smoked some weed. Weed doesn't do that to you. No, it makes you want to watch them. Why are the YouTube comments not coming through? I don't understand what I didn't do over here. Do I need to? I shouldn't need to sign in. Auto activate. It's activated. It's on. It's doing its thing. Just have it reload. And there are chatters. Reload this. Oh, you guys are showing up in here, though. That's good. Maybe I just hit reload on this one, and then you guys will come up. We'll just have to see. I guess we'll just have to see. But you guys are showing up there, which is good. Good. Okay. All right. Anyway, back to what I was doing. Oh, really? Wait a minute. Raspberry Pi imagers and install. Oh, there it is. Security warning. Wait a minute. No, that's the installer, right? Yeah, imager setup. Cancel. Try again. Typing it into the Windows menu. Imager 1.7 exe Raspberry Pi imager in the apps. But that's the installer. What the? Okay, fine. I'm just going to install it. I accept everything that's going to happen to me. And launch. We already did this. I already installed the imager. I don't know why it didn't show up. Did I find like a headless version of it? I must have. Okay. Choose device. Raspberry Pi 5. Choose OS. You guys don't really need to let me know that I lost the mic. I'm pretty hyper aware of these things. Although it's good looking out. It's good looking out. We need the memory card reader, which is in the drawer over here. Yes, I know it's back. Thank you for telling me that my microphone is back. It's nice to know. All right, let's get the programmer out here. I think I'm just gonna use this guy, this little USB 2 guy. These things are like whenever you buy a memory card, they'll try to send you one of these. So as long as you don't get one that's too off-brand. It should work, although I've heard of some of them being a little bit ornery. Okay, and then I need a USB port on this thing. I guess maybe we can go... Maybe it'll fit on this hub. Yeah, that should be all right. Let's see if that shows up in the application. Ah, you guys are drooping. Yeah, tighten it up just a little bit. Choose a storage. Now, this contains our test Pi. This contains our test Pi, which we're going to write over now. Another node. I have another node red light. I could make a unique color on the ideal light. How's it going to know that the mic is unplugged, though? Because the mixer sees the preamp, and it just thinks there's no audio coming out of it. I'm not going to hook it up to chat. You guys already have enough stuff to play with for right now. Yeah, so Windows is going to yell at me. You need to format the disk. No, I don't. It's Linux. I don't know. Does Windows 11, can it read the Linux file system these days? It would be nice if they were able to make it do that. I don't think they're too into giving you features that make sense. So mass storage, 16 gigabyte device, Raspberry Pi 5, Raspberry Pi OS Lite. Next. Do you want to apply OS custom settings? Yes, I would. And these are all the things from before. I think we got all these right. Glorious PCMR. You guys can see my SSID because you would literally have to be standing in the window behind me in order to get my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is so Bush League, we put these giant antennas on it, and it's in this rack over here in the basement, that in order to smoke stuff in the backyard, I had to buy a Wi-Fi thermometer, and even then, I can barely get away from the house in order to use the Wi-Fi thermometer. So believe me, you're not seeing anything that's too clandestine. Why is password Raspberry so long? Why are there so many asterisks on that? Windows can read Windows can read the Linux file system if you install the optional feature and have Windows Pro. So they put it behind a wall. It's like, can we actually like have some nice things for once? Services, enable SSH. We don't need telemetry. And eject media when finished. I think that's all the stuff that we want. Now, there's still some settings that we want to put in there in order to enable the HDMI port. All existing data. All that work we did in order to run the screen. I am going to regret that. Well, we have the backup file on. We have a backup file on the desktop, so I'll at least have that little bit of Python. So, all right, let's do it. Let's do this. This is going to take a couple minutes for us to actually flash the Raspberry Pi. And then we get to look up tutorials a little bit. We got to look for sort of a cohesive tutorial on doing this stuff. What did I study in university? Nothing relevant to what I'm doing right now. This is the kind of stuff that I would get up to on my own. But I did study electrical engineering. I am an ECE major in motors and control systems. And so there was a lot of very heady math that I studied. I probably should have gone into electronics, but I took one look at E&M and I ran for the hills. I still have that common university nightmare that everybody has where you don't know where your class is, you don't know where your schedule is, you're halfway through the term and you haven't studied anything and there's a midterm and you don't know where the room is that the class is even being held in. You can't make your way around the university and you could have dropped your classes, but you didn't. You didn't drop your classes and you're going to do badly. That is a common sort of university dream that people have. And I have that one and I think I have E&M to thank for it. Electricity and magnetism. Do you have the one where you forget to wear pants at the exam? No, because then I would have done better if I wasn't wearing pants. Pants are restrictive. They don't allow ideas to flow. We're still going on this thing. I'm still watching this thing go. But yeah, it was like the whole anxiety of that dream is like, I didn't do something I should have done. I am going to pay direly for this. But no, I did real bad in university at first. I was not that great. At like, if we had like a lab segment, I would do great on it. I just don't think the format of university is great for certain people's like style. And I mean, it was 25 years ago that I was there, 23 years ago that I was there. So things have probably changed a little bit. I know that one of my capstone project professors has become sort of the de facto makerspace of the university, which I'm extremely jealous about. That would have been something that I could have really gotten into. Could you give a sincere answer? After the university, have you found a way to put your knowledge into practice? No, I made a way to put my knowledge into practice. In terms of control systems and being a systems engineer, I sort of fell into that a little bit in just figuring out what equipment would do what jobs at what engineering jobs. The one that I initially got into was reverse engineering terrorist electronics for the FBI at a consulting firm. And so that took me down to Quantico, Virginia, and I worked there for like 10 years. And I was doing actually the stuff that I really like and know, which is electronics and reverse engineering. You need to be a really good engineer to reverse engineer something. You need to know how things are made. You need to know the thought process that goes into it. And so a lifetime of working with electronics prepped me for that sort of work. And I was very good at what I did. I wasn't very good at writing documents. Got in a little trouble with that. You know, at university, I had to learn how to learn. And then when I got into the workplace, I had to learn how to work in an office, which nothing prepared me for that. Not co-op jobs a little bit prepared me for that. But anyway, I did that for a while until the job became much less academic. It was much less discovery and more about just churning out reports. And then I happened on a job doing tracking devices. And then I happened on a job doing medical device stuff for a little bit. And then they fired me. And I was in Philly going, what am I going to do? And so while I was applying to jobs, I said, well, I wrote for Hackaday for a little while, just because in all of these jobs, I always needed that creative outlet. I needed to have some kind of a creative outlet. So I'd always have a project going in the background, and that would distract me away from work. You know, some of my coworkers have the philosophy, you get to work, you go home. I hate that so much. I hate that. The human mind needs to play. And so, I would get very distracted by projects at work. And so I decided that while I'm applying for jobs and sort of wasting away, I needed something to keep me from sitting all day in front of the computer and lamenting the jobs that I was finding. So I started streaming and didn't do pretty well at it, but I kept doing it for about a million years. So I started in like 2016, I think. And then I partnered in 2019 with Twitch, which means I had 75 concurrent viewers for the whole month, which is part and parcel to do with COVID and also to do with getting rated by Rob Oz and having a few larger creators kind of being seen by them, helping me do that. But now things have kind of plateaued. We've got kind of a stuck audience. We've got sort of lower numbers just because life and what's going on in the world. So we're working on Burn the Subs, and when that goes back up, we'll hopefully get a little bit of fanfare, and maybe I can get myself out there a little bit more, because this isn't solvent right now. This is just not, it's technically not working. I'm just able to do it. We're verifying now. We're on the verifying stage. But I don't always want to tell a sob story. We did really well for this kind of niche content. We're doing really well for this kind of niche content. Do you use C++ in your projects? We call it C++, C++ as in Arduino, because we do a lot of like silly physical computing kind of things here, like making a machine that makes fart noises when you guys redeem channel points. That's the sort of thing that I like to sort of do here, and I like giving you guys the ability to control things. So that was the big push for Node-RED, was that I can put the Twitch front end facing Node-RED facing the Twitch front end. On the other side of Node-RED are the ESP devices, all of these little things. Project M is wild. I've been watching this for 10 minutes straight. They're cool, right? They do a lot of really cool stuff. We used to do that at like parties. We would go to a rave and then we'd go to a party, and the party would throw up Winamp and with milk drop plugins on it. So we had, if you had a projector or a big TV, you had an instant visualization engine. And so I want to bring that to like these screens and have them be sort of their own thing, because eventually I could bring it to, well, you can't see it. I have a bunch of the LED rope. And if I can do that, take it to the LED rope, I have a deployable system for visualizations. That is just a Raspberry Pi and a power supply. I make fart noises with channel points. That's nice, Grandpa. Let's get you back to bed. He's off his rocker again. Mine are powered by beef. Okay, Grandpa. We got it, Grandpa. Thank you. But yeah, when we do Arduino, we do C, but it's microcontroller C, so it's nothing like real C coding. I don't know what we're gonna discover that we're gonna get into today, because you guys are in this with me. I've done a little bit of research ahead of time, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But this is all possible, right? It all looks like it's possible. Might even be able to run on an older Raspberry Pi, but I figured we'd run into so many problems with that because there would be like little issues with stuff. It's still verifying. It's apparently got a lot to do. I think you should add more phrase to your fart machine. DJ Fartbelly is here. Let's make some noise. Listen, the further we go, the more I devolve into and I do mean devolve, into a morning zoo radio host. And believe me, I've got all the bonk and whistle sound effects on that mixer. I bought that mixer so we could do game streams, and I would be able to add just a little layer of creativity to the whole thing by being able to do like a pot smashing noise when I run into something in a game. Like, oh, that's well and fun. But I don't want to become, a bonk noise morning zoo radio host. I tend to watch streamers that are like that. My stream is a little bit more cerebral, but I try to be punchy enough to keep people's attention. And that's a losing battle, because this stuff can be dry. We'll just say very, very dry. But yeah, we've been to a lot of parties and a lot of altered states that have milk drop visualization on a TV. There's one time I was completely sober at a friend's house and watching the milk drop visualizations on a TV, and everybody thought I was on acid. I was 100% sober. There's nothing going on. I feel like pacing, you keep it entertaining. That makes one of us. That makes one of us. I appreciate that very much. I don't mean to be down on myself. I'm not down on myself. I'm going to try to be more positive when I'm talking to you guys. What am I doing over here? Wait a minute. I don't need to be over here. What am I doing? I was going to go do something and I forgot what. This will be pretty cool though. This will be pretty cool when we get it running, because it's something that I've wanted to do for quite some time. This is an idea that I had many years ago. It must have been like eight or so years ago that I would be able to. Why doesn't that in this, but then here it's doing it? I guess BTTV doesn't work on the OBS source thing. But wait, but this is the one that's. This is a Firefox window? Yes, it's Firefox, and that was running the replacement. So why then would you? Let's see what it sees for Twitch. But this is running in Chrome, but I also have. This should have. I guess this doesn't have BTTV on it. How do I install BTTV? Oh, that's cool. Enable local server. Wait, this is how I can get both chats onto the crummy laptop over there. That's cool. So I can get both chats on the crummy laptop, and you guys will be able to talk to Julian and Dave when I stream. But I would very much like. I don't know if I can do plugins in this, even though this is probably capable of doing it. 7TV does BTTV better than BTTV. Well, that's all well and good, but can I install it on Social Stream Blade? Social Stream Ninja. BTTV. This is my exact problem. BTTV and 7TV not showing up in the standalone app. It seems to work for me just using the extension-based MF2 version. What? What, huh? Oh, well, it works there, yeah, but not in the OBS. I think it has to do with OBS. Do you like travel? I almost never travel. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I use a system called the Android Auto Pancreas System, called AAPS, to speak to a pump that is on my body. It's one of those, it looks like a little cephalopod that's attached to my bicep right now. That's where the pump is. That's what that little thing is. That is an insulin pump that's injecting me with little bits of insulin. And I have a constant glucose monitor in my shoulder, which is something that you change out every now and then. But it monitors my blood glucose every 5 minutes with a 5-minute delay. That is all Bluetooth, and it speaks to two third-party applications on my phone. One of them manages my glucose levels. The other one displays all of these glucose level points. Oh, Cyborg. Yeah, I know. As close as you're going to get. And as nervous as you're going to get about continuing my medical treatment with the things that's going on everywhere. But let's escape from that in this stream. Anyway, so yeah, that is managing my diabetes and giving me these tiny little boluses of insulin. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful system. I just recently found some settings in it that were sort of deep in the settings that allow me to make it just a little bit more aggressive. That, and I'm on one of these SGL1 medications now. So I'm eating less, I'm getting less insulin, but more aggressively, and I'm losing weight. So, so far so good. I just got to monitor to make sure that I'm not losing too much weight. I bought a scale, a really cool scale. It has this translucent top and yellow, like a yellow LED grid where you can see, well, it'll display your weight and stuff. And when you step on the scale and start it off, it puts a smiley face on it and winks at you. And I have to give you a little bit of context, is that I weigh myself naked in the morning before I take a shower. So I'm sitting there with my jubbly bits all out, and this scale has the audacity to look straight up my butthole and wink at me. Maybe I should try hacking my wife's T1D hardware. It's crazy. You have to make the app yourself. You have to actually create, you have to install, there's tutorials on how to do it, but it was a arduous, long like it took a lot of getting to know for me to get to know how to do it. You're totally capable of it. You don't have to do any programming. You just have to do like compiling and loading of an application. And then eventually the version goes bad and it locks you out. So you have to recompile the newer versions, and that kind of keeps you up to date. But that's AAPS, the Android Auto Pancreas System. So with the pod, it's communicating with the pod, it's being aggressive, it's giving me what are called microboluses, which are very tiny little bits of insulin throughout the day, much like your pancreas does. I have the Dexcom G6. I think this works with the G7. There are lots and lots of websites where you can learn about this stuff and sort of get to know. In order to get this fully looping, in order to get that feedback loop to work, I had to use it for a month, and I had to do a comprehensive exam on all of the different features in the app. You do it all in the app, but you also have to be reading on the side and like figure out where the answers are, because there's like a lot of sort of eclectic knowledge that you need in order to know what's going on with the looping system. It was a pain in the ass, but it was doable. And then in about a month, I was able to actually close the loop, and I can do things like eat a cheeseburger and not think about it. It was the first time in my 33 years of diabetes that I was able to actually turn my brain off after eating something. I ate something and I said, okay. But I'm also a huge fat guy, which snuck up on me suddenly, because I lost all the weight when I was taking testosterone, got it all back afterwards. And so I was like, holy shit, this is a bit much. And the onset of insulin and stuff was not great. The pumps were working very hard. I'm finally reversing all of that stuff. I'm finally able to start losing weight and things like that. The other app that you have to get is called Xstrip. Xstrip you could get today. It's very easy and you don't have to compile it yourself. What's up, Cyanide Tech? Xstrip communicates with blood glucose monitors, the constant glucose with the CGMs. That's what Xstrip does. Xstrip will then send that data over to AAPS. Xstrip will also send the data to the Heroku app website, and that's what I display on the screen. So if you're monitoring somebody else's diabetes, if you've got like a kid, you can use Xstrip, and Xstrip will allow you to drop in and check, okay, my kid's diabetes is doing okay. It's a crazy system. I think Dexcom has only just been flirting with having this kind of connectivity. The thing that really excited me about the system is that I can turn off the alerts. You guys have seen how crazy beeping makes me, right? You guys have seen me stab a piezoelectric buzzer with a screwdriver and have no regrets in my mind. I did not even for 1 second have anything but joyous thoughts while doing that. Because as a type 1 diabetic, if something makes a physical beep, I have to stop everything and make sure that it's okay, or I could end up in the hospital. So anyway, so being able to turn off a lot of the alerts and beeps is really, really nice. This guy loves his beeping. I will stab you with a screwdriver. Put the screwdriver away so I don't end up stabbing anything with it. My wife had a lower alert at 6 a.m. this morning. The only thing that happens to me now is in the middle of the night, I will wake up, and absolutely the most disorienting thing in the world is when these pods run out of insulin. Some genius decided that the indicator should be it just setting off a constant beep. It just one constant tone. It just beep until its batteries run out. And so I wake up and it beep, and I don't know what's going on. Beep, what am I? What is going on? And so I have to reconcile with that I'm still alive. I'm a human being on planet Earth, and that I need to get out of my warm bed, go downstairs and get another pod and replace it. It is one of the most disruptive fucking things in the whole world, man. What's that genius YouTube comment on the screen? What? It's the big criticism that I'm trying to... Oh, we were working on a project, weren't we? I'm just talking. Why am I talking? Yeah, I didn't know. Oh man, you're now completely connected with T1D now, huh? Yeah, it's been 33 years of type 1 diabetes for me. I totally understand all this. I realize that I might have lost some of you guys in the tech explanation of it, but it's basically 2 applications. One of them is a direct medical thing, so you have to compile it yourself. Otherwise, they would have to get all kinds of approval for their app. It is a little bit more of like a community sort of thing, but it's also kind of a dangerous application. What it allows me to do is ignore that I have diabetes as long as I keep everything topped up. It's amazing. How do you keep motivated? This is, what is it, 40 some odd people? 53 people are keeping me motivated right now, and it's not really even working. Not for long, thanks to Android. Thanks to Android. Yeah, pretty crazy, right? I think I need to get a new phone. I kind of have like my medical well-being resting on this phone, and it's like starting to, I mean, this is just the screen. This is just a piece of glass in front of the screen, but man, things are getting a little damaged here. My wife has only had it for like 2 years, but she dove deep into research when she got the diagnosis. I heard a coworker of mine's, it could be a future, yeah, the screen could go wampus at any minute. A coworker of mine's father got diabetes, like type 2, and he engineered it to the absolute fucking end. It's one of those insufferable engineer kind of things that you hear about, where he was making charts and sheets, and there needs to be a third-party phone. Yeah. Google's further tightening grip on the user experience is really troubling me, and especially considering the app approval stuff that they were talking about. I don't know how this is going to get by that. If I have to register as a developer in order to do that, I'm not sure. I liked the Pixel as it were, but yeah, I'm done with Pixels. You could try those Chinese phones. Apparently Rabaz uses those and he doesn't mind them, but I don't think he's much of a power user. Yeah, but anyway, so this engineer, dad of a coworker, went totally psycho engineer on his diabetes, and he got it down to like apparently he reversed it through like sheer willpower and like iron fisted diet control. Crazy. People don't have to be that crazy. And keep in mind, I have type 1 diabetes, so all the stuff that I'm doing won't, undo it. I have the unundoable one. Psycho engineer. Yeah, that's, insufferable engineering. Pine 64. Is that one of the, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You guys know better than I do. The Pixel can run Graphene OS. And can Graphene run AAPS? And if it can, I guess that would be the direction that I'm going, instead of registering myself as a third-party developer in order to sideload apps. Sideloading apps was the whole point of Android. That was the cool part about Android. I'm done with Google, Apple, and Microsoft. I am this close to putting like KDE or something similar on this machine, the streaming machine, and my computer, the gaming computer. The thing that's keeping me from doing that is Fusion 360. Graphene OS, wait, the newer ones aren't able, the newer Android can't sideload. But what Graphene OS, can that? I have to do some research. I can't believe they're doing that. Getting rid of sideloading apps is like the biggest crap butt stupid poop brain thing I've ever heard of. Open source project re-implements the esteemed Winamp Milk Drop by Geis in a more modern cross-platform reusable library. So we want to be running headless, and we want to have it able to run the Project M library. From what I see, what I read previously, this will only do it in C++. I don't know if it'll do it in Python. Maybe we'll have to search that. First off, though, we need to get our headless Pi up and running. So headless Pi openGL. And the best that I was able to find, I have a Pi project running open frameworks, draw textures, maps, and on LED lighting. Hey, that's basically my project. Currently, I have the system working as a headless configuration by utilizing, but because this is all the openGL calls run the CPU instead of the GPU, is there any way, short of attaching a dummy screen to it, that it would let me run the Pi headless and utilize the GPU? I'd rather not attach a screen, as this is for permanent outdoor art. And so, wait a minute, that's me. This is me. Did I ask this question in 2020? Milk Drop, it's been a long time. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do, Big John, is basically the washers game again, just without the interactive layer of the washers. Why not WLED? It has an audio out. Budget, I don't know. My idea is to run Project M, because I guess I like the visuals on it, but I need to run it low level on a Raspberry Pi, because this is going to be Burn the Subs, and Burn the Subs has this power supply cover, and I want to use one of the $7 purse screens in order to run a visualizer. And I figure, well, I've always wanted to try this Milk Drop thing, Project M, which is just like a simple library, and I can run that pretty lightly. I need OpenGL, so I need to have a Raspberry Pi 5. So I have a Raspberry Pi 5. I have all the stuff I need to do it this way. You can't undo Control Z, undo type 1 diabetes. No, it doesn't work. So I have all the stuff. I don't know what it would take to run WLED. I want to do similar to what I did with the Washers game. The Washers game used Winamp, and it used Milk Drop plugins, and then it picked off LEDs from that overall display and threw them onto a screen of spaced out LEDs. And so a screen of spaced out LEDs looks really, really, really good if you have that kind of visualization on. So you get the Winamp plugin running in the background using all the graphics drivers and stuff like that, but then you pick off the RGB of all the individual LEDs, and sort of it makes it look like a cohesive visualization. Milk Drop 3 is out. Really? Well, I've been looking at Project M, because Project M is you can run it as a library in your other code, and so I can have the visualization stuff happening in my own thing, right? We've been on Milk Drop 2. Yeah, Milk Drop 2 and then Project M kind of spun off of that. That's where I'm finding Project M. WLED I do not know about. I'm going to look that up right now. WLED. Welcome to web. Fast feature-rich implementation of ESP. Okay, so that's ESP Web Server NeoPixel. I see, I see. You know what? I have looked into this. I don't remember what became of it. So yeah, there's all kinds of implementations of control for it. Supposedly it's really good. I want to do my specific implementation of Milk Drop though. Oh, this does have Milk Drop integration. I see, I see, I see. Sync to Philips Hue lights, Alexa voice control. Interesting. So this might actually just be the project that I wanted to do. Easy to config. Up to 3 LED outputs per ESP8266, 10 per ESP32. Supports RGBW. Oh, that's nice. Where was all this crap when we made the globe? User presets. This is a lot. WLED node red. Aha! Node for controlling WLED device from node red. Node supports a single segment and can control the effect, palette, color, brightness, and level. So that's a little bit restrictive. Huh. Not quite, but controlling it on some kind of device. And there's a nightlight function. Neat. All right. Well, yeah, I guess I know this site. I've seen this site before. I think it was during the research phase. So you got expandable libraries and audio and all kinds of other stuff too. Interesting. I got to learn about this. Yeah, because this does it all, doesn't it? They basically made the entire platform. Now, WLED Raspberry Pi. I have a spare 3B, want to use WLED. You can't. Damn it. So the inception of this is that the Raspberry Pi is controlling burn the subs. WLED is fast. I don't think Project M has any chance of being slow on a Pi 5. This is a lot of computing power. Plus my title's about the Pi 5. I don't want to change gears completely right now. That's true. I could have the Raspberry Pi talk to the ESP, or I could have just take the totally out of the system and have the because Brian Locke did a lot of cool work putting an ESP on these screens. And if I put an ESP on the screen and hook it up to the Raspberry Pi, not the Pi, the ESP on this thing, and I hook it up to the power supply, and then I have WLED running on something else. Yeah. It can run on an 8266. It can do LED displays. So node red triggering it? No. Just some other thing. Or like yeah, I mean I have ESPs and stuff. I have to figure out what the hookup is to the big LED display. I don't know that yet. What would I run WLED off of? What would be the initial system? MQTT on that too. What's that? Zapped myself. That's a good URL. WLED DMX out. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, and then you can use like big time lighting displays and stuff. That's cool. So wait, so WLED runs completely on the ESP? I have WLED DMX running on my office lights at the moment. That's crazy. So WLED ESP 8266 flash. That's just the binary. What do you mean? Oh, that's the like direct control site or whatever. Oh my God. Oh wait, so that if I open that with Chrome, Signal RGB is a great way to send live color data to WLED. Oh boy, this is a lot of stuff that I didn't know about. We were going to be doing this stuff, the Project M stuff, but apparently WLED can run. But it wouldn't be running, the ESP wouldn't be running the milk drop, would it? WLED.me. Yeah, so Firefox does not support the installer, but I have a feeling that if I opened it in Chrome, our Chrome is still mildly up to date. What's new in Chrome? We've decided to take away all of your usability. So plug your ESP into the USB port. We will install WLED 0.15.1 to it. Places found, get WLED installed in less than 3 minutes. Let's give this a try. I don't know. I liked my idea of having openGL running the screen. Let's see. So instead of this right now, if we're going to plug in an ESP to this board, then I liked my idea. I liked it. But we can put an ESP8266 down as one of these Wemos D1 minis. Yeah, this is the one that uses the 8266. So we drop this sucker down here. Oh, I haven't had anything to drink. I got to get my my seltzer water in a second, or I'm going to desiccate. All right. Oh, that does not plug in clean. Data out on a power rail. These screens use some other. They use like a bus protocol, the 75 hub. Let's see, 75 hub WLED, not searching in Chrome. I'll just leave that there for installing. 75 hub WLED. Moon modules. Support for LED matrix panels using hub 75 format. You can use either regular ESP32 with a suitable adapter, such as ESP32 Trinity, or dedicated Adafruit Matrix Portal S3. Support is supplied by the ESP32 Hub 75 Matrix Panel DMA library. See more details, supported hardware. Support for Hub 75, WLED, MM, I don't know what that is, should be considered experimental at the moment. Required shield, this is the hookup. Oh, look at all that. Alternatively, we can try it with a WS2812 strip, which I have right here. Which should be just, it should just be able to do that. Yeah. This is stuff that I would want to put up on my wall at some point. MM means Okay, let's see here. So which one is in? This one is in. Okay. This big old thing of LEDs here, and just see if we can take a look at WLED, because it's super freaking fast to put together. That's sort of what that's sort of why I'm changing gears to just get something that lights up on my desk. Pictures of Spider-Man on my desk. If I recall correctly, these are 5 volts, this one's 3.3. But this one is only putting data out. So supposedly I can hook the two together without blowing up my ESP8266. WLED app on your phone. You can control multiple builds of your network and they can talk to each other. Your data line needs to be short in that case. Yeah, I mean, it's this long. So I'm just going to use jumpers to get over to it. And let's see, 5 volts will come into this through the USB. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, so wires everywhere. Or you do a false pixel 1 close to the board and then run the data longer after pixel 2. Oh, so if, yeah, you would have the thing that boosts it to 5 volts. You'd have like a whatever chip is in here, or just cut the strip and put one pixel right there. This should be fine. It's not going to see much of a drop over that distance. Now, what is the in on this side? Huh. That's annoying, because these jumpers are going to be kind of annoying. I have the Megabonk theme stuck in my head. I don't know why. I've been watching streamers play Megabonk. It's just Vampire Survivors. And for some reason, everything about that game is harsh. WLED has a setting for relay pixels. Jesus. You know, you come into a project and you have this expectation of what you want to do with it, and you want to build something that's like kind of cool and sort of seems a little hacky and would do just the cool thing that you'd want it to do and nothing else. And then chat comes in and they tell you, hey, by the way, here's the entire thing you're trying to do. Do this instead of thinking about anything. I'm just going to steal these. Here's the whole project and then some. Everything in your title's wrong. And you should feel bad. But I'll give this a try. Happy to do it. It's just that when it comes to like Project M, the whole functionality of it, I'm not trying to have something that's so integrated. You're causing me mental anguish and trying to save. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Because what I wanted was something that is sort of locked in to the system. I don't need all the plugin and integration stuff. I want to see how to sort of pare it down. The visuals on that game are very harsh. And there's a lot of flashing and a lot of contrasting colors and a lot of casino noise, because it is just a Vampire Survivors like. But for some reason I found it fascinating, because you can break the game basically with power-ups. Strange phenomenon, and it came out in just the right time for streamers to kind of glom onto it. So we've got 5 volts at the bottom. I got the 5 volt ones, right? Otherwise we're going to have to throw a regulator in there. 5 volts. And these are which chip? Oh, we're LPD8806. So I assume these are supported. And I'll probably have to tell it at some point. You can still run Project M on the Pi and share the color data to the WLED setup. So strip light syncs with the Hub 75 matrix. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to have to figure out the topology of this whole thing, aren't I? So the Pi could still be making the visuals and sending them over to whatever WLED is doing. Interesting. Well, let's try to vet out WLED, because supposedly this is very easy to do, right? The Raspberry Pi outputs the video and putting that in quotes to WLED display. That could be a thing. That's more stuff in the way, though. that's probably going to end up with what's happening, but it's, like, what if the this is moving on its own. I'm not moving that. If something goes bad, like if the ESP goes bad, or if the Raspberry Pi goes bad, I guess this is not that big of a deal. I'm just thinking it through. Okay, so we want to put WLED on this ESP. I've got my LPD 8806 LED strip. I'm using that just because this is a lot to deal with, and I don't want to put 10,000 jumpers on this job right now. We will eventually, maybe I'll figure this out at some point and make an adapter cable or something, but I'm going to need an ESP32 in order to do that. What are the prices doing on ESP32 because of all this freaking tariff bullshit? Let's just check real quick. Oh yeah, that's right. Click on the button below to continue what? Why would I have to do this? I haven't logged in this on Firefox yet. We installed Firefox last stream and it was a big hullabaloo. I had to restart and start and stop stream a whole bunch. We lost YouTube. YouTube is just gone. They blew up. 15 bucks, little man. Yeah, it's not so bad. Okay. Well, I can make these Hub 75 screens into ESP32 devices. I have 5 of them, so it would be nice to use. I have one I can mail you. You don't need to. No. This is 15 bucks from Amazon. I'll get it fast enough. Luckily, stateside stock is still probably up. And so I can make a circuit board that goes onto the back of the ESP32 and adapts it over to Hub 75. It'll just make it into its own little device that just needs power. And a WLED setup somewhere. And maybe we can put that on the Raspberry Pi. But let's try it out on the ESP8266. And that'll be able to do the LPD 8806 strip. ESP32 Hub 75 PCB. Oh yeah, that's right. That's probably a thing too, right? Amazon might even have it. Hub 75 ESP. Why are all these? Oh, because I was holding down the Windows button. ESP32 RGB matrix panel adapter board, 23 bucks. That's bingo. That's a bingo bango. Dingo dango. And it even has a little barrel socket on it. It's like my mental anguish has shifted to a new space. And that space is that every project has already been done. Every project has already been done. They've all already done it. All of it's done. It's already done. The internet is shit. Everybody's done everything already. So the WLED, I mean, yeah, it's gonna steam me to getting this done a little faster. I wasn't gonna have so many features and integration and stuff, but with this, apparently with WLED, I can hook up a bunch of different systems now. I could even take all the brains out of the rack and make that into the same system, which is something that I wanted to do anyway. So yeah, back in my day, you'd think of 2 projects and you'd smash them together and you would have one featureless project out of the 2. Nowadays, it's got an app and everything is stupid and there's tariffs. But so with WLED, you just buy the PCB on Amazon. So when I made the LED headgear, which was a bunch of different length LED strips in a circle, I did all these matrix calculations to figure out what LED should be doing what. And I had matrices against matrices to keep it fast. And I did all of this work at like 4 o'clock in the morning, programming in Arduino, getting all that stuff together, throwing all that stuff on there, getting it integrated, getting it working. And then I took it to a party and people said, "Where'd you get that?" And I said, "Amazon." And then they walked away. Did you sit on this panel for a few years? Mine's collecting dust and I stole back the D1 Mini and had it running it. I never hooked up the D1 Mini to it. I know Brian Locke was doing that for a while. He sold his version of the circuit board. I now find out that there's a $23 circuit board that I can get that'll just staple this whole thing together. So I guess in the future what I can do is put another ESP on these and this panel, and I can try to coordinate it in some kind of a way. Matrices of dominatrices. Yeah, it's not It's not master slave anymore. We're talking dom and sub. I hate that I can just buy this though. I hate and love simultaneously that I can just buy this. Okay, so anyway, let's WLED this thing. I need my USB programmer. That's this right here. It is an extreme length away from the hub, from the USB hub, because this setup is crazy. You can have webhooks trigger the WLED patterns. Yeah, and if I can coordinate that with Node-RED, I can sort of integrate that into some of the shop stuff that I have. Like I have this light that turns off. I have this light that turns off at 3 o'clock in the morning. I have all kinds of like little integrated things that I do in Node-RED, especially with OBS. And so I can try to coordinate that stuff up and get some sort of relevant displays going. And I think this will give me all of that advanced functionality that I would have eventually wanted, and maybe not had the resources to program. So it's all already there. So perhaps later we look at running Project M with openGL, and then we can pinch out the pixels and send that to WLED. Yeah, all the streamer RGB wall tiles. I would have really wanted to put up some wood strips in between these acoustic panels, and in doing so, I could probably have a mounting point for like LED strips or just something with LEDs that are spaced really far apart, because the thing that I'm talking about doing, where you pick off the pixels from like a Project M display, lends to that really well. It looks really, you can have really spaced out pixels and it'll look like a coherent screen, and the further away you go from it, the better it looks. It's really cool to do. I'm going to set up mine so that my 3D printers can flash the staircase on and off when they're done. That's pretty good. How do your print's done? Yeah, my staircase is flashing. So you like Node-RED more than Home Assistant? I haven't given Home Assistant a try. You saw today how I operate when somebody's pushing something on me. You've got to use this. You've got to use this. And I'm like, I want to run away. I want to run. I just want to run. But I've reluctantly let in the have yous. Nobody said you have to. Yeah, well, no, I kind of do, because it's a better system. I have never tried Home Assistant. Node-RED is what I fell into, and Node-RED is not a home automation tool. It is a programming tool. It's a workflow programming style tool, visual programming tool, which means it is capable of doing things other than what a Home Assistant is supposed to do. I have run into problems where you have your walled garden. Now, Home Assistant is good. It's really good, right? It does all the Home Assistant stuff you would ever want it to do. I dislike stuff like that because that limits it, because I do really weird stuff, and the really weird stuff I do could potentially get outside of that realm, right? Hospital call, I fell down the strobe stairs getting my 3D print. I need to print out little grippies for my stairs. Please send an ambulance, fix me up. I stroked out while crawling down my LED stairs. Node-RED plays very well with Home Assistant. So if you love Home Assistant and you want to get into sort of a greater realm of functionality, but again, like Node-RED, my usage of Node-RED is crazy. Oh, this isn't going to know. Oh, maybe it will. No. Oh, wait, yeah, this is the right one. Oh, it loaded just fine. Oh, that's nice. Okay. That's another thing I like about Node-RED is we just switched to Firefox. And so, you know, I have things here that work on the Twitch event sub front end, and they peel out chat messages in order to have different functionality. Like I can send a payload over MQTT to Punchbox, which is an ESP8266 that I've hooked up to a 100 volts and a solenoid. So could even put Node-RED in Home Assistant, but for your case, just Node-RED is fine. Yeah. Yeah, pretty crazy. I've had no troubles with Node. No, the trouble I have is that the Windows activation pop-up came up on my desktop PC, and I don't know why. It just suddenly came up on the desktop PC, and I'm like, why? So we can't do that from there. We got to do that from a Chrome window. The Chrome windows, for some reason, they play with COM ports better. I don't know what it is about Chrome. Back in the day, I had a drone set up that I could only program. It was like a ArduPilot setup, and it worked through a Chrome browser, which is very strange. I guess that means you can use it on your phone, though. But yeah, apparently that's because these Chromium apps or whatever can use the COM port. It's pretty solid. It's run all my house sensors for a couple of years. Yeah, I need to do that. I need to figure out the easiest way for me to do that. What I want to do is I want to hook up a thermometer to the hot water heater because I'm a pervert. I mean, because I want to know when somebody's taking a shower. I want to know if somebody's using the hot water. I would like to have more granularity in that. I would rather get a bunch of wall warts and stick the devices in each of the, the bathroom cabinets and hook up directly to the pipes that go right to that hot water feed. But I think I'm just going to figure out where it splits off and have just like two halves of the house, and then I can just look at the temperatures and figure out if somebody's using the hot water. Because there comes a time in the morning when you're sharing your house with a bunch of people when I don't want to use up somebody else's hot water pressure. That's actually what it is. It's not because I'm a pervert. It's just I don't want to step on toes. So if somebody's using, the dishwasher doesn't use the hot water, but if they're running like laundry or if, stuff like that, those kinds of statuses. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. I've been reading K-type thermocouples for a bit, but I'm using DHT22 sensors. I don't need that kind of time granularity of it. I would use the Dallas Semi. The Dallas semiconductor temperature sensors can go a huge distance with two wires if you put a capacitor by them, and then you can get a temperature reading like every 2 seconds from them. And that's all you really need for that kind of a system. I don't need to know the precise instant the pipes heat up. They're good. The one that's in the refrigerator that I have is off by 10 degrees. I don't know why. I think it's because the VFD display gets hot on the refrigerator, which is weird. This is a sentence that I can tell somebody like flatulent gonad and he somehow knows exactly what I'm talking about. None of those were real words. None of that was actual communication. That's not how you talk to people. What are you even saying? None of that's real. SwitchBot has some good temp and humidity sensors. I do not know SwitchBot. Plain 15.1 CPU frequency test. No, just plain. There's nothing here for a COM port. Bluetooth peripheral device. Oh, that's what's COM for? Wait, which one? I wonder what device that is. It's probably those headphones that I have. USB 2.0 serial, COM 5. All right, let's do it. Connecting. Edging this install like crazy. We goon around sometimes. Install WLED. WLED 15.1, all Deveda and device for the install. Yeah, so old project from like way back in the day. I have a little drinks fridge that I got from somebody in Philadelphia that was like a street away from the people that you know, Big John. Lee Majors, it was like a street away from him, or like a couple houses. I think it was up the block from Lee. And they had this little clear glass door drinks fridge that wasn't really working, and they sold it to me. Is it an LG? No. But what I did is I replaced its brain with a Fermentrack controller. Now, supposedly, Fermentrack is so inactive, it was active so long ago, there is another project that I need to look into installing onto my fridge, because my refrigerator doesn't work right now because I've moved the devices that were controlling it. It used to run off of a Raspberry Pi doing a little web server thing. But instead, Fermentrack controls the fridge, and Fermentrack allowed you to have a 4-line character display. Installation complete. Yay! It let you have a 4-line character display hooked up to it. So what I did is I basically put a VFD behind the fridge door so that you could read it there. That was cool for a little while, but I decided to kind of spice that up a little bit. I drilled a giant hole in the top of the fridge and I put a tap on the whole thing. So now it's like a beer serving fridge. I still need to make a wooden top for that. I haven't done that. But so it's this, you know, beer tap on top of a fridge. And what I decided to do is on the tap handle, I have that LCD. So there's 4 wires that go up into the tap handle, onto the back of the tap handle. And apparently, how did I do this? I don't remember. Somehow the LCD, or sorry, VFD, VFDs are vacuum fluorescent displays. These guys right here, they look amazing. Makes all of their equipment look like it's professional audio equipment, even if it's not. Very cool. Flatulent Gonad was an expert in these for a little while until he freaked out and smashed them all with a hammer because of ChatGPT. ChatGPT and maybe some anger issues, I don't know. But I have one on my tap handle and it's actually really good looking. I got new ones. It's really cool because it tells you the fridge temperatures and stuff, and it should tell you an ambient temperature, but the VFD has a pretty beefy power supply on it in order to get that high voltage to fluoresce. So these get kind of warm. And so this is giving me a false temperature reading in this room from the Dallas Semiconductor thing. There was a high voltage leak and it ruined loads of Arduinos before they got stomped. Oh my God, a high voltage leak, that sounds awful. Did the browser require an allow pass before flashing firmware onto a random connected USB device? The modern web is scary. This is you're very correct. You're very, very correct about that. It really didn't verify anything. And by the way, this is the streaming computer, and so we've done this kind of electronic stuff like a lot. And it's been a long time since I've done an OS wipe on this thing. So it's possible that I have given Chrome those permissions a long time ago. And I vaguely remember having done that. So there might be another layer of protection that just was toggled in 2016 or 2017. I just socially engineered you. No, I'm gonna get a gun for this ESP. Where's my gun? Where's my gun? Where's the bug assault that I took apart? Oh yeah, too much talking. I'm sorry. This is the bug assault. It's just a toy. I shouldn't be talking about it for 4 hours. Okay. We have our ESP. It's got, wow, the light's like bright and on. I don't know what the hell it's doing right now, and I don't know what to do now. So let's, installation complete. Configure Wi-Fi. Oh, here we go. We don't want that one. We want glorious, what channel? Oh my God. And it's dead beef. And again, I can say that to you guys. I could say, hey, my Wi-Fi is glorious PCMR and the password is dead beef, because you would have to be there. You would have to be right there outside of the window. Right there. In order to get into my Wi-Fi. Should make that your banner image on YouTube. Connect. CCTLD. I don't know what any of those words are. I'm going to visit my device. Whee! Here's my device. Yay! Okay, what are we doing here? We need to tell it what it's doing. So we would add a segment. Hold on, I'm just getting to know my interface. Oops. Go to config. I would have gotten there eventually. Wi-Fi setup, LED preferences, 2D configuration, user interface, sync interfaces, time and macros, user mods, security updates. So, LED preferences, total LEDs. We haven't done that yet. Recommended for power supply, brightness white. Add a power supply with total of 2 amps. We're going to put it on the bench supply. Nah, no brightness limiter. LPD 8806. LPD 8806. These have slightly better what do you call it? a better color palette, I believe. So 8806. Don't know that thing. Don't know the clock yet. We're on an 8266, an ESP 8266, so we're gonna go with lower speeds. Oh, sick! I love WLED. Why did everybody and their dog know about goddamn fucking WLED? I'm sitting here looking at Project M, and I'm looking at C code to directly output on a Raspberry Pi, and everybody knows about WLED but me. I don't know. Tell me about these things. Okay, anyway, back to what we were doing. GPIO to clock pin. So clock GPIO, data GPIO. Can I just use 2 and 3? I'm not exactly doing anything with 2 and 3. This looks like I found this ESP under a dumpster, and I basically did. You need to look up pinout diagrams and make sure that it's pin labels, not the pin position. Okay, yeah, let's well, that's down to the D1 Mini. So Wemos D1 Mini pinouty, because the D1 Mini is just a carrier board for the ESP8266. So we need to make sure that they kind of line up. What in the fuck is, okay. Go away, website. Oh my God. Discover the possibilities of current sensing and a pop-up that I can't get rid of. Yeah, D05. Okay, so if we go like 6 and 7 are MISO and MOSI compatible. So those are 12 and 13. Oh my God. I hate the internet. I hate it. I hate the internet now. I used to love the internet. And 13, and that's going to be, so should I do interstitial jumpers? I got to decide on this thing. 12 and 13 or 6 and 7, or try both if it doesn't work. The details wasted so many hours of setting up the WLED builds. I never told it that it was the Wemos D1 Mini, so it's not going to be 6 and 7, it's 12 and 13 because it programmed an ESP8266. So we can boil it back on the language than there. Yeah, it sounds like that's one of those things that'll get you. That's one of those things. 12 and 13 start 0, length is, oh God, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. How many LEDs is gonna, I'm not gonna count these live. Maybe I can just look it up, or we could just fire it up and then add LEDs. We'll do it that way. Oh, the number is just for the patterns, I see. So with WLED, I have control of the strip or matrix and potential patterns, which could include a plugin that runs milk drop. That's what I'm kind of getting out of this. So it might be, I might get away with, if I really want particular activity out of it, I might do my own thing running Project M, but then but WLED might already also have the Node-RED functionality built into it too. So, and if I have the Node-RED stuff built in, that means that when a subscriber subscribes to my channel, I can have my entire shop do like code red flashing, and I can drop to the ground with a, you know, foam coming out of my mouth, which is what I want. Now these are on Tasmota stuff, but that's controllable in Node-RED, so I could potentially just turn off the lights in here and make everything go crazy. Yeah, okay. I'm getting a little bit more of a sense. So this is the LED stuff that I would typically do manually, but this is handled in an application that has an extensive amount of configurability and sort of can be side loaded and done with all this other. It's basically completely flexible and expandable to make my entire system integrated, which is what I wanted. So I'm glad that I listened today. Today was not necessarily a listen day, and I listened, and I'm glad I did. Okay, so this is all done. Skip first LED, no. LED memory usage, don't care. Make a select segment for each, no. Okay, so let's make sure that I plug this whole thing. Oh, button 0 and button 1 push button. This has just the side reset button, so I'm not going to be doing anything with that. I'm going to leave that alone. Infrared GPIO we're not using. Turn LEDs on after power up, reset, whatever. Enable transitions, effect bending, etc. Okay, let's make sure that we hook this up right first. So data and clock. Signal RGB on Raspberry Pi. Oh, do these not play together? Oh, because this is Chrome, right? That's Chrome. I got multiple browsers running. Boy, my memory situation has not been cleaned up by this. LED. My father was an angry drunk. One day during my childhood. This is why my recipe for muffins is the go-to. Okay, going away, get started, LED effects. What are we talking about? Pico W, Scorpio, Arduino Nano, and then firmware. What is, so this is sRGB. This is another rabbit hole. Oh, God. And this probably has milk drop plugins, but I don't want to, we're losing the trees for the forest here. I think there's some phrase that I could say right now that would explain this. Anyway, 12 and 13 are, so 12 is D6, and that's going to be GPIO. The phrases and shit. No, that's different. It's a different thing. All right, we want our hookups here. So let me hook this up. We're going to have, let's see, the Raspberry Pi isn't plugged in, so I'm not going to blow up anything if I do. Power and ground on the rails. So rail, and then power will be a yellow wire up here. Oh my God. I had this tiny little enchilada for lunch. Let me tell you something about enchilada sauce. It does not play well with the acidic stomach that I have. I think I'm digesting my esophagus. Okay, now D6 and D7. We could hook these up randomly to see if they work, but supposedly this is dead easy and simple. I like dead easy and simple. So, now, one is GPIO data and clock. That is, I just love how easy that is to read. There we go. Data and clock in. So data's the top one. It's pronounced data. Data is red. It's under the USB here. I gotta fish it out. Nah. Data, red to green. Green is enchiladas are a way of life. These are like supermarket and they were like real tiny. So data is 12 and then GPIO is 13. So that will do that right there. And that's all we needed to do. Now, if I just went on Amazon and I bought the hookups, it would literally just be plugging things in, flashing the device, and hitting go, which is crazy to me. We need to still provide this thing with power, and I need to ground the ESP. Let's see. We'll keep the USB plugged into it for right now, just in case we need to hit it with a bunch of stuff. Probably because that's, well, I don't have the phone app to control it yet. So, yeah, I'll hit save settings in just a sec. I just want to hook this thing up to ground so that we have the same ground going to both, and then we're going to send 5 volts from the power supply into everybody else without blowing this thing up. So let me get a little jumper. I got one over here. And which one is Gund? That would be DDD, reset, TXRX. There's G. There's my G. I need a longer jumper. I need a longer jumper. Oh my God. G right here. The parallax when I'm doing stuff like this, using the microscope to show you guys in giant O-vision what I'm hooking up. Problem is, you can get a little parallax and you can end up plugging something in to ground that's not supposed to be plugged into ground. Yeah, this is where we throw all the magic smoke in the air. Okay, so supposedly that's all hooked up. Power supply, turn that on. Let's get that rolling. This custom power supply that can do 52 volts at many, many different amps. and is 99% of the time set to below 6 volts. Actually, well, the modular synth stuff was we've been doing a lot of really cool stuff there. Tekken is 3. Oh, we're up to 3 on the Tekkens. Will this be perma breadboarded? That nothing drives me crazier than perma breadboard setups. What I found out is that actually I can just buy an ESP32 and a circuit board that goes onto the back of this thing. And so I'll be able to potentially, I think probably what'll end up happening is I'll run the milk drop stuff, the Project M from the Raspberry Pi 5, and that'll be an indicator to me that the Pi 5 is working, and then that'll be sending pixels to WLED, and somewhere in the mix, I need to get Node-RED involved so that I can coordinate, so that if we have a subscription come in, I can make this coordinate with all of the other screens in the shop. But during the interim times between streams, when I'm just walking by the board and seeing whether or not everything's still working, I can have this thing running just sort of a cool little visual. Anyway, okay, so power is off currently, so ground to ground. So Superfast Matt has been making amazing YouTube content for many, many years now. I found an old email where a friend of mine told me about Superfast Matt in 2020. Still great content. One thing that he did that drove me absolutely nuts was he had a test, it's a test setup, so it's excusable, but he put a breadboard onto a test setup on top of his car in order to Node-RED and WLED also play well. I saw a plugin, but I don't know what it didn't look like it was totally super featureful, but maybe I can explore that a little bit and find a better one. But he had a breadboard setup sitting on top of a car as like a temporary test setup. Honestly, I would never rely on a breadboard on a test setup because you're going to have more headaches in the fact that your wires can wiggle around on the breadboard. It would be much more prudent, and I know he's maybe just doesn't have the skill to do that, is to put it on a soldered perforated prototyping board. The temporarily permanent installs of electronics are much better suited to soldered prototyping board. The wires can be fairly clunky and it can be noisy on a test setup. You've got to be careful about that. A lot of scientists make their own little test setups on just copper clad board because then they can ground everything and get less noise. But a lot of the like temporary permanent one-off circuit things you do on this stuff because it's much more permanent. And then if you're crazy and you want to spend the time to design it and you've got all your parts in CAD already, you can spin off a circuit board and get 5 of them for $5. There are domestic places that do it if you're American. If you're not American, you don't have to deal with these fucking tariffs. So trying not to get too mad today. Okay, so let's hit save and get this programmed. Savvy. LED settings saved. And let me turn on the 5 volts. Donk. We are, okay, so the first thing I'm looking for is how much current we're drawing, and we are drawing very little. It's 100 milliamps, 10 milliamps. Now go back. We have to go back. Solid. It doesn't, does it segment 0? That's the one that we're working on right now. It should know that we're LPD 8806 or whatever. Let's see. Brightness is all the way up. Color palette not used. Peak at the top. Peak. This is peak. Look for heat in the system. This is always that warm. Okay. Oh. Uh-oh. I reverse powered the LEDs. Uh-oh. I hope these are robust, the LPD 8806s. Otherwise, I'm going to have to cut a segment out. Sorry, everybody. Well, we didn't fry the ESP, though. Oh, the line at the top is showing me what my output is. I see. Okay, now we have 3 amps going through the system. I'm going to shut it off. It's possible that I just blew something up. the first one in the line. I might have blown it up. Oh, and then I fully unplugged it because they're barely in there. So for a minute there, this thing drew 3 amps. Green's going to data. Green goes to that. Yeah, that should be hooked up. So possible that we blew this one up. Just in time. Just in time for us to draw 3 amps into this system. Is 3 amps for this length? I mean, that seems reasonable. Oh, that was OBS that I clicked on. Hold on. Three-wire LED strip. No. No, I don't. This is all I have. I have the LPD 8806s. Actually, wouldn't the... I don't think I've blown up too many of these by reversing them. Oh, let's just look at the settings again. Config. LPD 8806, don't care about that. Slowest clock, start 0, length 30, 12 and 13. Yeah, that should all be fine. And then if we choose a color and I go back over to here, yeah, next I might flip the pins. But a draw of 3 amps is a little bit much for my comfort. Not my comfort character. Yeah, this is drawing 3 amps. Oh boy, we're getting warm. Why would it be getting warm though? Yeah, bad pixel 1 sounds like what it is. Let's just reverse the pins here. See what happens. Which ones were they? Oh god, I can't see. 6 and 7. I don't know why it's heating up this much too. I think it probably is just pixel 1. Oh yeah, look at how hot that's getting. Okay, that's what it is. It's dead number 1. Number 1, dead. So we will just chop this. What do I have to chop it with? I guess I have to use scissors. Yep, I killed it with the reverse power. Who knew? How could I have possibly known that sending it direct reverse power would lead to its destruction? Yeah, the data is 3 volts on a 5 volt strip. It should be able to handle that. Sometimes the chat was telling me that you can put like a sacrifice pixel close by and that'll help it a little bit. Let's just make sure everybody's off. Stupid thing. All right. We'll get going. 4 hours to get an LED strip lit up? This guy talks too much. Why did my Stream Deck just go blank? What? Oh boy. Okay. What are we doing? That was scary. Why did that happen? We're using this power supply, so there's nothing that should be affecting that. It's off. Everything's off. There's no power running through anybody. I unplugged the USB. No, it ain't. Nothing's on. 0. I should get this. Some of these have USB outputs that you can put on screen. Yeah, no, I was careful about that. Listen, I've had too many incidents. Too many incidents. I don't have to put these wires back on. I guess I could put a 4-pin header on that and just plug it into here. Then it would be nice and close. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I should annotate when I do that stuff, because I just kind of naturally did all the unhooking without mentioning it. I should maybe talk about what I'm doing while I do it. Oh, I forgot to ask my cousin how Brisbane was doing. I actually remembered where he's from. And I remembered to say it in a weird way that would probably annoy him just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oi, oi, mate. Oi. How's down under? Power is still in the ether. You must destruct the pylons. We require Vespine gas for some fucking... Why do we need gas to build this, you guys? Bunch of gas heads over here. They're just huffing that gas all day. I don't know what's going on. That's how we get the tech tier. Alright, so the annoying part about this is that I need to get this out of the end of this thing, or cut it back. And neither of those are easy to do with this stuff. Or I could shove the soldering iron in there, but it'll probably like melt stuff, so. We'll just give it a little cross cut to get in, and maybe I can get around it like this. I can't believe how easy WLED has been. It does mean that I gotta spend another like $60 on this fucking project, though. I don't think I have a nipper like that. These are the precision scissors. These are not for cutting wires and stuff. I need to find another pair of these. I was able to find almost the exact pair of scissors and buy another set. These probably belong to the FBI. But anyway, I was able to find almost an exact pair of scissors like this, and I ordered it, and I got them, and they were miniature. It was a stainless steel set of scissors that were slightly smaller than this one, but every other dimension was exactly the same. And like hurts when you use them because my hands aren't that small. Just complete poppycock. It's ridiculous. It was a comedy bit. I've only smoked WS2812 LEDs. These are different. Yeah, these are a little bit less hallucination inducing, and you get kind of more of a sustained high from them. But only a little. These are LPD 8806s, which I think have more, or a faster color thing or something, I forget. Visually, I think the what is it called again? I remembered for 2 seconds. Oh wow, it's not written on the further, it's written on the first cluster. LPD 8806. 20 to 50 minutes. In and out, real quick. Soldering these while floating is hurting my hand. Okay. 4 big old solder beads on the end of that mofo. This is going to be a great Raspberry Pi openGL tutorial. We're still on step 4, I think, which was to flash headless Raspberry Pi 5 onto the Pi. Oh, this camera froze. Oh, this camera froze. The camera froze. This is a frozen camera. But, you know, continuing on with the comment, step 4 is, listen, LEDs are more fun. Why did that camera freeze? Oh, man, the face camera's frozen. I think the hub crashed for some reason, but it's not like I plugged anything into it. Ugh, we'll fix that in just a second. This is my face cam now. You guys have to live with this. Why is my equipment quitting on me? I need a new computer. Okay, anyway, so back to this. So ground is the black wire, is the top one. We got to make sure to get that one correct. Oh, I need to trim these a little closer. You know, make a YouTube video, you have to cut around all this crap. I need to remain talking during the entire thing, and I need to keep people engaged. Aussie man, what? I'm from America. So is my cousin, but he lives in Brisbane right now. Although, when do you make the call on that one? How long does he need to be there? I also don't know where he was born. So DI is going to be green. Yeah, that's normal. This is so much easier with something holding it for me. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy, is this easier with something to hold the workpiece. It's almost like I have panic soldered something just like this at a festival. Multiple times. Multiple times. Oh, YouTube channel called Aussie Man. Okay, I don't know about that. Hey, the scissor's called a pharmacy scissor. Let's go to a Chrome window for that, so it ends up in my search history. Where is the where did that one go? Oh, that's this. Mixed results. There we go. Embroidery scissors. But like these, so like that looks like it's the right thing, but the scale was, I can't gesture in front of the camera. Okay, hold on. My camera has just died. The blue light is not on the camera, so I'm gonna try unplugging it and plugging it back in. Something weird happened with the hub. Just from unplugging the Wemos from it. Oh, possibly when I put reverse power into the thing, that might have done it. That might have been what blew this up. But did it blow up my camera? It's possible the camera comes back if I just sort of reset. But man, I don't want to have to buy another one of these things. Yeah, it crashed when I reverse power. Damn it. Sort of like that time I hooked a taser up to a MacBook. We had something that was supposed to spark for a fire cannon. We decided using a taser would be awesome, and so we hooked up one end. I don't know what you're talking. No, I don't remember either. But we hooked one end of the taser to the shaft of the fire cannon, and the other one was on the sparker. That was a shielded wire that came down, and it turns out that the taser was then hooked up to ground. And when we tried to spark the end, a MacBook would restart across the way. It was it survived. It didn't die. It did not die. It still worked afterwards. It just reset, and Big John and I looked at each other like, oh no. So from then on, we used an automotive 2-pin connector on the thing, which had a lot of separation between the pins so it wouldn't spark across the connector. Okay, anyway, let's see. Sorry, there's a lot of little anecdotes that are happening today because I'm an old man full of regret and memories. Let us get back to WLED, and let's see if my face cam is fucked up. Let's go to the face cam. Okay, I'm still... This is actually my expression right now. This is the expression that I'm making. And I'm really good at ventriloquy. Face cam, properties, deactivate, activate. There we go. Okay, now it's back. Now I need to calibrate it, but I need to close Stream Deck and open it again, because now it won't be able to affect the camera settings. So let's quit that, and let's start up Stream Deck again. This is my emergency protocol. Whenever something goes bad in the shop. You can see these Logitech webcams, like, why were they so expensive if this is the default video that it gives you? Look at that, this is unusable. This is crap. This is utter crap. So if you have a Stream Deck, you can get these tools that will let you affect the settings of the camera and have your permanent settings. Because if you go into the settings of this Logitech webcam, it won't listen to you. there's a certain procedure that you have to do, and you can look it up. There's a procedure that you do where you set your settings and then you reset your settings, and then that will give you good 1080p video out of the Logitech webcam. One day I'll actually have a budget. One day I'll actually have a budget and I'll be able to buy new cameras and do some of those things. But why aren't those GPUs mining Doge? Come on now. That's the 1080 FTW that's running the stream computer. That is the 69, no, sorry, that's the 1080. This one was killed by a friend of mine that I gave the card to after I was done with it. This is the 6900 XT that's in the gaming computer. They're all water cooled right now. Shut up, I'm getting to it. I just need to calibrate my cameras. Face cam, set up face calibration. Whoa. Okay, there we go. We're back. Don't mind the USB hub that I almost murdered by having a grounded USB hooked up and putting 5 volts through it from the power supply and drawing 3 amps through a dead LED. Nobody saw any of that, so we can hook this back up to USB without blowing up my face and setup. Power is on the power rail, ground is on the ground rail. Power is on the power rail, ground is on the ground rail. Double check all of our connections before we get into this. And now I should probably be able to turn this thing on and it'll turn some form of yellow. Power on. Okay, very little amp draw. We're not drawing a ton of amps. The LEDs are off. I'm gonna go over to the app, the WLED app, hit solid, peak, no. Change the color to red, no. Double check our pins. Yeah, always be checking the pins. Always check the pins, especially my current draw is very low. If I was responsible, oh, that's the problem. If I was responsible, I would have set this up to have a current cutoff on the power supply. Now this should be easy as can be. Oh, I need to, yeah, I'm getting some okay, so here's another symptom that you might get if you guys are trying this yourself. This is not a tutorial, but sometimes people watch my channel in order to figure out how to do stuff. And if you are, this is the part that I like to show you that people don't see if you watch like YouTube tutorials, that I am getting intermittent results and I'm getting weird LEDs powering up along the chain of LEDs. That means that I've flipped my pins, or yeah, there's a communication issue. Maybe it's not able to get it too far, but I've seen this mostly when I've got the pins flipped. So let's flip them back without touching too much here. Still getting intermittent, so, whoa, what are you doing? Oh, my cables are a little funky. Okay, we got some of the right color. Oh no, they're supposed to be red. That's not what I'm looking for. What are you linking me to? Is this the app, the phone app? Maybe I'll put that on a tablet or something. More pixels maybe did. I mean, I am getting communication into the strip, so it should at least be lighting up the near ones. You know, this one over here. The LPD 8806, it's possible that it's a little bit more sensitive to 3 volts. Reset the Wemos. See that when my data lines are bad. I can't vouch for any of the connections here being correct. As you can see, it's flickering when I just do the smallest of touchy to the thing. Got this, we got this. That should be date. Let's wait, hold on, make sure I'm not plugged into the wrong ones. So D6 is DI. Double check, config, preferences, data is 12, D6 is 12. I mean, it's doing something which tells me that a signal's going there. Oh, that's the flasher. That's fine. Does it change if I try to change what the output is? No. I could boot up the oscilloscope and take a look at that, but go back to the diagram. GPIO 13, GPIO 12. I figured if I chose a MISO and MOSI, it would be able to do it, but 1 and 3? Oh, for directly to the RX and TX. Okay, let's try that. What am I doing? Looking for scissors. Config. LED. Let's see. TX and RX. So 1 and 3. And then one and 3. Back. Okay, there's that. Yeah, it's still the same behavior. It's being kooky. Try flipping them. Here, give you guys this. Gotta make sure I'm on the right pins. I'm on the right pins. LED type? Wait, Muart? What do you, wait, hold on. Here or? But that's the chip I have. Increase the LEDs. Okay, let me just try increasing the number of LEDs first. No bueno. Still the same, we're just getting weirdo. 2811? All right. Not Wi-Fi. We're at 2811, 2811, 2811, 2811. There's like multiples, but I'll just do white, I guess. I don't know. Save. Yeah, it really didn't change anything on the... I'm wondering, am I connected right now? Oh, I see. That's only white. Is it possible that I'm not connected? Okay, power supply is still 40 milliamps. Nothing's changed there. I'll reverse my data in clock line. I wonder if these jumpers are just being a little ornery. That's like once we get it to actually work once, then the whole world opens up for us. Under network, you should be able to see IP. Yeah, let's do. Oh, not Wi-Fi setup. Hold on, back and then go to. Oh, that is in. Hold on, sync peak info. Build blah blah blah. FPS2 MAC address CPU clock. So I got that stuff there. Yeah, it might. I might need to shorten up the lengths of things. I don't know if that's getting me there. Hold on, back. No, it's web setup. Okay. Timer sync peak info. Info is giving me this information, but I don't know. I don't quite know if that's correct. Getting flashbacks that he's extremely short. You have set data to GPIO 1 and clock to GPIO 2, if I saw correctly. Yeah, we moved that off of 12 and 13, but I may put it back to 12 and 13 because I don't think that's the issue. And 1 and 2 are the TX and RX. I don't know if that's going to affect its ability to like program. Actually, wait, this LED isn't on. What's going on there? The LED was on before. We had it powered up. This may be something else. Possibly the port of my hub isn't working. Let's take, it could also be the length of USB going to that, but it did program all right. So maybe if I move this to the top of the stack, if that LED comes back on now. Connecting an LPD8806 LED strip with reverse polarity will likely destroy it, as the 8806 driver chip and the LEDs themselves do not have built-in reverse polarity. Yeah, I mean, it did flicker. I didn't catch that. That's why we cut out the dead one. The dead one has been removed. So, hold on. Let's see if it's connecting now. I don't know how to check to see if it's connected to USB. Oh, this is doing it by IP address. Oh, okay, never mind. So we're going in wirelessly into this thing. The LED flickered. It was on solid after we programmed it. I don't know what it does now. But okay, so these, as long as we're in this is run by the 8266 maybe. Let's edit our segment and put the LEDs back to 12 and 13. What? Oh, it switched to WS2812. So back to LPD 8806. 12 and 13. Save. Back. Nope, that didn't do it. All right, so let's shorten these mofos. The page is hosted on the 8266. So if I'm on that page, then okay. So yeah, I'm guessing that it's going to be this length of wire that got us. So let's get some selective little jumpers here and create a new strip. So turn this off, unplug this, don't kill everything again. Get these off of here. You know, I've done this kind of thing before a lot, where you have one of these like Chrome apps and you're updating devices and you're trying to get stuff to work. And in the end, all of the labs at school and things like that, there was always a point where you got to stop and go, you know what? I'm going to spend a little bit of time making the cleanest setup I possibly can, because with a clean setup, you eliminate a lot of these weird variables that are killing your implementation. So we're stopping, we're taking a step back, and we're going to hook this thing up using these little tiny jumpers that I made a long time ago. And by made, I mean I cut other jumpers. Sometimes it's via cache. Oh, I see. So you get weird values and stuff that hasn't been updated. Weird. All right, that stuff there. We almost blew up my USB hub. I'm not too happy about that one. That's kind of annoying. That would have been a bummer. That USB hub is expensive. It's a USB 3 powered metal hub that I have screwed onto the side of the desk. So if that blew up on me, it would not be a good day. I do have a spare. Or no, I don't. Not anymore. I used it. Darn it. These are the same color wire. I don't like that, but it's all I got. Could have killed which... Well, the ESP did not get reverse. It just had, well, technically it did, but the 5 volts on the USB hub through the power supply, I'm guessing messed up ground. We'll see. We'll eventually get to the bottom of it the more I test stuff. the more variables I eliminate. Yeah, all of it will become evident in no time. And then, you know, push comes to shove, I can hook it up to the scope and just see where the data is, whether or not there's even data on the line. And that'll tell us more definitively whether or not we need like a level shifter or an opto-isolator, something of that nature. Opto-isolator would probably be the best way to do this because all you're doing is blinking an LED. Although, depending on the speed of the isolator, you know, transistor circuits are also pretty good. That didn't really connect. This is a weird maneuver to do with your hands. Okay, you know what? Fucking thing sucks. Give me this. Yeah, for those gaming at home, like, this is a typical experience with this sort of thing. Running openGL on the Raspberry Pi has never been so complicated. But no, running like an LED suite, getting things running in a little bench setup, they always carry these little issues where you watch like a YouTube tutorial and it's like, oh, that just works. But let it be known that it does take a little bit of gumption. I killed so many strips with this sort of thing. Yeah, that's just the way of it. It's just the way of it. Way she goes. Way she goes. All right, so ground, double, I'm like telling myself what all these things are. Ground to here, definitely to the ground rail. Data in from pin 12, which is 6, which I can't see, so I have to go to this camera. E6, data in, clock in from B7. This one, and it's going to unfortunately do a little swoop-de-loop. Still can't, you know, I see what you guys see on this camera. And then this one is power, 5 volts. Okay, so now we got shortsy little cute cables. Everything is right next to itself. The output of the ESP is a delicate flower. Yeah, these things cost $1. They cost $1. They are very delicate. And I'm gonna have to order some ESP32s now. Which is fine, it's totally fine. It's, you know, whatever. It's not the project that I wanted to do, but it's fine, it's fine. I guess it's fine, I guess it's fine. Okay, so all I now need to do is power it up and make sure that I don't have runaway current. No runaway current. Plug it into USB so that I can get back onto my network. And then power up. There it is. So it was cable length. And this is definitely not the color that I have on the color wheel. Sweet. Blink rainbow. Oh, that's obnoxious. Okay, so what color is what? Well, this is blue. So instead of blue, we got green. This is red. Red is red. And then green is going to be blue. And that carries with it 0.53. So we don't have the whole strip up yet. I told it 100 and it didn't get to the end, huh? Although it might not be getting to the end of this because of power restraints. Although this is a white LED. The last one is, or no, that's near the end. This could be because of power. Although it's only drawing 500 milliamps. So let's go back here and go to the config. So it should be BRG, because we're flipping those two. And then let's give it 200. Save. Now we are green, and I've got a program to be green. You guys, hold on. Yeah, there you go. They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you can't go into it because they would never understand. Is it a line from something or just general? That's white, yellow, orang. That's pretty orang. This thing doesn't do brown. It are a meme. Okay. Blue. Hey, all right, so that's WLED. So WLED has the potential for a lot of different things to sort of happen on it. We have all kinds of patterns here. Like Chase Rainbow, everybody's favorite. I hate the rainbow patterns because everybody just leaves it at that. What's dynamic doing for me? The LED headgear that I made, I had it do a plasma fire kind of pattern. It was kind of an interesting one. So it made kind of a nice what would you call it? Just I don't know, a dynamic. I don't know what else to say about that. But it wasn't just your RGB moving around. Halloween eyes. I don't think that's. It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. I see you. What? What is that? What is that supposed to be doing? I see you. Weird. These strips are kind of old, though. I probably should take them out of the plastic. This one's juggle. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so WLED. Oh, yeah, it might have displayed something different if they were like a screen. Like Blue Lake. Yeah, pretty cool. Built-in patterns too. That's nice. Okay, all right. So WLED might be the that might be the answer. That might be what we have to do, and maybe I need to load it onto. Well, maybe I'll have something that'll be able to do visualizations on the Pi. I see. So it just lights 2 of the pixels to make eyes, and then it moves it around slowly. All this stuff has happened while I've been looking at like other LED things. I always thought that like there weren't that many good comprehensive LED projects out there, but apparently there's a few, and they all came to light during this stream. People were suggesting them in chat. WLED is one of them, and it appears to be pretty functional in getting these strips to do things that are more dynamic than just your RGB chase, which is good. I had always thought that like the Adafruit stuff kind of like did their thing, and everybody just kind of did RGB strips. Like if you look at computer hardware, they're all kind of limited. They're too limited in the patterns that they do. And I guess people have been working on things. So that's really nice to hear. It's very reassuring to me, because at some point I have enough of these things in order to create some pretty good dynamic LED displays around the shop. WLED also does 3D volumetric. Woo! Still doing UDP packets. I don't know. I'm directly controlling this thing right now. So at some point, either, yeah, I don't know about through WLED. I would like to hook it up to Node-RED, but I don't know what, you know, like what I'd really like to do is the milk drop visualizations, and I need to do a little bit of reading about how to get that going. What we'll have is a Raspberry Pi powering Burn the Subs, and then with its extra processing power, I could have it running a WLED controller that would do, you know, it would be giving pixel information to the WLED controller, and then if like a sub rolls in, I can have Node-RED prompt the WLED directly to do something else. That's kind of what I'm thinking about for this. Dual scan. Scanner. That's neat. They even thought of having transitions between the things. That one just went away, but sine. Is that a representation of a sine wave? Is that what's going on? I can give it a random color. Man, all that work that I did for that headgear to have it all local on a little microcontroller and do a sinusoidal, it was like a sinusoidal palette, color palette kind of thing in order to run the LEDs. And apparently this is just baked into a WLED now. Of course, the ESP8266 didn't exist when I did that project. So yeah, it's neat to have something sparkling on the desk and functioning with so little effort. What was the big effort in this? The big effort was getting shorter wires so that the 3-volt ESP could actually assert change on the LPD8266, and then also just making sure that I'm not reversing power to anybody. When you run fast and loose and you've got a lot of people watching you in chat because it's Friday and nobody else is streaming. Actually, I think a lot of people are probably on right now. It's a thing. And also, man, we got a lot of viewers for doing LED stuff, so we should do more LED stuff in the future. I need to do stuff that's more punchy, that you guys will be really excited about, and have, at least at the end of stream, have some kind of a thing that we can look at for a little bit, you know, just a little, because a lot of our streams have been kind of coming up short with the end part. People have asked with the headgear, like, how did you blind yourself putting all those LEDs in? But if you can see what's happening right now as I roll out this LED strip, all of the LEDs were facing outward. So I was in this nice, dark, topiary sphere, while everybody outside of me got their retina blasted off by LEDs. Man, I could, well, okay, so the strips on the, it's not an ESP8266 powering it. It's a, I think it's a Teensy. So I don't know if the Teensy can do that. I could get rid of it, put an ESP32 on the headgear. But the power supply stuff is really weird on the headgear. But then I could configure it in WLED, and then that would be part of the rest of the LED displays around here. It's hanging on the ceiling behind me, and it's hard to get off of its hooks. So I'm going to leave it there for now. But I could potentially resurrect the LED headgear and make it do pretty patterns. Pretty patterns. What else we got on here? Sparkle! Let's fucking go! This is not very sparkly. This is more like glitch. This is more like, did I bump the data pin? Or let's turn the time way down. Turn the flicker way up. This is like a blue screen of death. WLED is really just a control interface for the Fast LED library. The Fast LED library I have used in many projects before, and it is a good one. Didn't Paul Stoffergan have a lot to do with that? But I guess WLED is a easy to deploy control interface for it. Solid glitter. Sounds kind of neat. Beep boop beep bop 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 bop. I don't know what the price of these LED strips are these days. I know that they have much more dense ones now, but I like to have the spaced out LEDs because you can cover a large area, and you can cover it in such a way so that if you stand way back, you can see like a visual on those strips. So I have 3 spools of this stuff. I'll have to see if we can put them up to something coherent at some point. Until then, I guess I need to either resupply my 8266s or get some 32s. The 32s are a little bit expensive though. Did you use web installer? Yeah, you have to use, well, for some reason, for me at least, I had to use Chrome. So I had to flip over to Chrome, go to the web installer. That was fine. It was nice and easy. I've got all my COM ports sorted out on this machine, and I think probably 8 to 10 years ago, I said, okay, I will allow Chrome to connect to the COM port. I think maybe if you're doing this off of like a newer machine and not a streaming computer that's been begging for the sweet release of death since you put Windows on it, you may get like some pop-ups, and you may have to like figure out. But Chrome apparently lets you make apps that speak to the COM port. And so for a little while in like electronics and stuff, A lot of these apps did that, and WLED does that. There are alternative ways to install it as well. I don't know them though. And on Chrome, it was nice and easy. I just hit, and it put all the stuff on there, and then I gave it credentials for my Wi-Fi. And so now we have this IP address that has the WLED interface on it. I'll have to figure out what I can do with that. LED stripes are very cheap now. BTF Lighting is the more reliable seller I've found over the past 5 years, stuffing LEDs into projects. Yeah, this opens up a whole world of me stuffing way too many LEDs into too small of an area. Solid pattern. That's not doing anything. Color gradient. That's also not doing anything. What else do we have? Sparkle dark. Sparkle dark? You there, bud? That's not doing shit. Okay, sparkle plus. Oh my god. We gotta go to the light colors for sparkling. That's not really that impressive. There's gotta be something else. Sunrise. Sunrise? Sunrise? Some of these, yeah, these are all sort of the built-in ones. Oh, TV simulator. So what this is supposed to do is if you put it up like in a room, a dark room at night, somebody trying to break into your house will see all of the cast light on the walls and stuff, and it'll look like somebody's watching TV in that room. Twinkle Cat. Not bad. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. Twinkle up. Oh, yeah, bro, let's twinkle up. You guys ready to twinkle up? Yo, I'm ready to twinkle up. Not too bad. I don't know. It's cool. There's a lot of these. Random wipe. What was I even gonna do? This one is not cool. This is not what I signed up for. Let's go back to twinkle up. BT, what is it, huh? Oh, this is the seller. Yeah, these are much more dense too. What are they asking for this? 30 bucks? That's not what it used to be, but yeah. So supposedly with the Node Red thing, I can actually plug something into this and change these presets. I've been looking at some y'all controller. What are y'all controlling? So these are pretty cool. I mean, yeah, these are all the visualizations on the LEDs. We've got an ESP8266 that's able to control over 100 LEDs on a strip. Oh, that's just a WLED compatible controller. I will need to look into WLED and Milk Drop plugins, because if it has some other kind of engine that's not Project M, and if it can run from the Pi or not, I'm not sure. Oh, I see. You could, yeah, tons of options. Yeah, I mean, okay, so I have not been in the LED strip game for quite a while. There's a lot of cool stuff you could do. Of course, I thought Big John was going to have me get Touch Designer, because that's what they all swear by over there, and you can use Touch Designer with probably WLED and a bunch of plugins and stuff like that, but you can also map LEDs. And so those Christmas trees have been able to do that lately too, where you put your camera on it, your camera phone on it, and it'll run one LED at a time and figure out which ones are where, and then put a coherent display up based on those pixel mappings. Weird stuff. And I've seen the LED strips on Christmas trees that look like it's just like a spinning candy cane, and all the cars in your neighborhood are just careening off of the street because it's too much to look at. But yeah, apparently I could do the same with a Christmas tree right now. all I would need to do is work out the power to all this stuff and, you know, something that would last in the weather. Signal RGB is way easier to map and send color data to LEDs in 2D applications. I don't know. You know better than I do. I know nothing. All I know is that if I want to run Twinkle Up, if I want to twinkle up, I hit this button and I set it to kind of an icy color and then it twinkles up. Look at that twinking going on. That's great. Touch Designer is a steep learning curve. I thought it was supposed to be easy. Oh, that was the whole thing of Touch Designer, is that you just put in plugins and... Yeah, it's in the stream title. It's right there for you guys to read. It's right below this. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. That much should have been evident by me blowing up my webcam in the middle of a stream. Can't believe it blew up my webcam. I gotta triple check more often. I had my head too far in my ass. I was too far engrossed in what we were doing and not thinking. And I hooked power to ground because they switch sides. You know, when you type wet into the wet fart thing and you get the wettest fart that we have, the absolute just cheek smacking bubbler of a wet fart, that's not because it recognizes the word wet. It chooses a random fart when you type characters into it. You have to use a number from 0 to 9. Can't believe you got the cheek smackingest. Ridiculous. Oh my God. You know what? You didn't earn Twinkle Up. Tetrix? I wonder what it's actually doing. Fates. Strobe Rainbow. Oh my God. Ah. Oh, my eyes. Smashing cares into ints, yeah. Well, no, it's actually not care and int. It's here, I'll show you. It is actually, actually. Oh my God, what did, stop it, I'm gonna start having a seizure. All right, so what's actually happening is when the channel point is redeemed, it goes into the fart category, so nothing passes that doesn't say fart. Then it sets the message payload, and setting the message payload means that it has to be message.payload set to the value of the reward message. And if it is anything but 0 to 9, it goes into otherwise. And when it goes into otherwise, it sets random. So 0 is random. 0 to 9, 0 is random. So we're actually morphing the type into what we need it to be in order to send to the fart box. Using, I guess, if then. Yeah, we didn't get to any of the openGL Project M stuff, huh? We kind of got stuck at WLED for a bit. But now I know what hardware I need to buy in order to run a bunch of LEDs around here. And because of the nature of WLED, that means that I can expand the whole thing to be like the whole shop and stuff like that. I don't know if I can run on the Corsair LED controller. I wonder if I can load WLED. Yeah, it's basically just input sanitation criteria through a if else. If it isn't 0 to 9, then it's random. All right, thanks everybody for watching. I think I'm done. 4:20 Eastern Standard Time. We got a lot done today in how much time? 3 hours and 34 minutes. Signal RGB will run the Corsair LED controller directly. Well, that's kind of cool. We don't have followage commands. I don't like that. That's great, but I'm looking to use WLED, so I'm not gonna go Signal RGB. It's just the WLED. Why would I just spent all this time learning this thing. I'm not gonna learn the new thing. Oh my God, so many new things. I still have to set up this Raspberry Pi. We barely got to the part where I power it up. That's what this USB cable's here for. Signal RGB works with WLED. My head hurts. my fucking head hurts. My head hurts. Just got a new house with a dormer. What's a dormer? I don't know what a dormer is. Need to find a nice project to stick in the window. I mean, the era of the $7 LED screen, I don't think that's still going on. The fake room window things that pop out of the side of the roof. Oh, like those house eyes, the little things. I thought those were like attic windows. But I guess they're fake. That's weird. Little peaks that look like a bedroom. That's like a big thing in Sweden, isn't it? Having those things. We don't have those. What we should have are solar panels. But the HOA isn't cool enough to let us have solar panels. They think they're ugly. Oh, solar panels would be ugly. I'm like, bitch, solar panels look awesome. I see solar panels on a roof and it makes me happy. Signal RGB to open RGB to control motherboard RGB. I see. So signal RGB is like something I'd run on the computer. House came solar ready, but you still have 24 panels. Awesome. You gotta like hang them up somewhere. Put them in the trees. Solar panels would be ugly. Yo, mama! Why'd that make me laugh? Why did that do that? Why did that have that effect on me? Why did that make me laugh? Hooking this thing up is going to be a major beast, but I can get a $30 circuit board that'll just do it for me. 30 is a little bit steep, but I'll just do it. And that way this thing can have an ESP32 on it, and we can do a bunch of stuff with it. So that may be what we get up to soon. Probably not next time because it's going to take a little while to ship. I think it's coming from, well, hopefully it's not coming from international waters, but I think it's going to be coming via the worst shipping possible. So yeah, we'll figure that one out. Okay, I'm going to program the end card because I haven't done that yet. I forgot to do that when we were in the midst of all the stuff that we were figuring out today, but I know a lot of stuff about a lot of new stuff to me. WLED, I did not know anything about. It seems like a pretty powerful tool. So I'm going to say I'm back on Tuesday. It depends. Tuesday's the 7th. I will probably have my mouth repaired. Actually, that might be on Wednesday that happens. Might come back sooner. I'm not really sure. It depends on where I get with stuff. And yeah, we'll just see if it's one of those, one of those weeks when I can do a Saturday stream. I might, because we did a lot of cool stuff today. The thought of telling the HOA members that they come from the pot scrapings of the gene pool make you laugh, if I were to guess. Not pot scrapings of the gene pool. How about pearl clutching, wine slurping suburbanites is more their speed. And it's just kind of annoying that you would have to fight that fight in the first place. Here's the end card. So if you want to see, my blue sky is still dead. I'm holding out hope that eventually I get an email about the blue sky. I don't think I will though. But you know, maybe at some point I will and I'll be able to get that back. But then the Discord's over here. Thank you guys. I really enjoy doing these streams for you, talking to you for 4.5 hours instead of having a tutorial where I just talk about the steps to do something. Because that's not what this is. Mm-hmm. 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 Not a tutorial. Okay, yeah, anyway, back soon. Capture me on Discord. Don't browse social media. It'll melt your brain. It's been doing a number on my mental state lately. So that didn't even show up in my... And I've got all the plugins installed. Why didn't... It didn't show up there, right? Like, yap, popcat, yap. But then it did show up in this, which is still Firefox. Oh, hold on. Sorry. This is the one that I keep an eye on chat with. And it showed up there. So some stuff is still a little weird. I don't think I have any way to get the stuff to show up here on the social stream Chromium window. because there's no way to install BTTV on that. So I don't know if that, I don't think I can enable it there. This is just regular Twitch settings. But yeah, there's nothing I can do on that. Nope. Okay, anyway, yeah, I will catch you guys when I come back. Hopefully that's soon. It's not a built-in plugin. I don't think so. Let's see if there's like a setting that I missed. Load social stream, view, window. Command line arguments, maybe it's in that. Featured chat overlay. Nope. Chat bots and AI services, oh my God. Events, emotes. Filter duplicate. Oh, this is for emote wall filtering. Emotes float up rather than bounce around. Emotes to filter out. No. Height meter, tip jar. Winners, flow actions. Giveaways, polls, credits. I should have a joke credits page. Interactive games, battle royale, ticker, word cloud. That sounds fun, actually. Global settings and tools. Spotify integrate. This seems to have everything. Where's my FFZ and Frankerface Z and BTTV? It looks like it has like everything else. Global chatbot. Yeah, I don't know. Visibility styling. 50%, no alternate background shade. Like, boy howdy, there's a lot of stuff here. Yeah, I don't know if this has FFZ on it. Yeah, this is too many settings to not have a search bar. Search. Where did it find FFZ? Try BTTV. Yeah, it didn't find it. Oh, add BTTV emotes. Is that going to change the URL, or that's just that in general? Experimental challenge setup guide, blah, 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 blah. FFZ. Add FFZ emotes. There we go. Now, can I do that without changing the session URL? Should hopefully stay the same. And if I put in popcat, there's popcat there. And then if I go to the chat window individually, it still looks like that in here. But it does look right up there, which is good. What does it look like on my blade? It is animated on my blade. Okay. So on this thing, everything's on there. Okay, so we got all of our emote functionality back. We got our stupid stretchy emotes that make me happy for no reason. It doesn't matter if it pops up in this thing. This is just a little monitor window that it uses to feed the main one. And then one thing that I have to look at this on is this, if I can use like a server, because apparently this can potentially give like Julian and Dave a window on a different machine where they've got both chats going. That would be very nice. Could I get this into Node-RED? That would be interesting. If I do the server thing, then I could throw chat into Node-RED using this, and then I wouldn't have that YouTube API limiter. It would also be nice if it could tell if YouTube has gone live and automatically sync this so that it starts up. That could really save me a bunch of bacon at the beginning of stream. Well, for right now, I'm just going to tolerate it with the way it is. We're always kind of improving the automations around here and slowly building it up so that I can just sit here and just hit one button and my stream will just start up and I just go, hey everybody, welcome to my stream. And then I eat a bunch of chips, but it mutes automatically and the lighting changes so that you guys don't see me eating the chips. You'll just hear one big crunch and then the limiter will pull it down so that you don't hear it. I go, welcome to my stream. All right, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Do I throw you at somebody else? I don't know who else is on Twitch right now. Let me just check real quick. I'll just check for 1 second. For one, it's not loading. The sidechain chip compressor. The D-chipper. It goes along with the de-esser. If you guys speak the language, you should check out Garrick Durek. He's doing some odor repair, designate reparateur odor. I don't speak, I don't know what he's doing. Let's see. Why is he at the bottom of my list? Oh, it's doing the thing where viewers hide low. What do we got? Diddy Combs, we're not doing that. Nothing to do with that. Stir, nah. Gmart, nah. Folding Human, maybe. I have never rated Folding Human, but I think he's a little too cerebral. Boom is on, doing her usual cool stuff. All right, yeah, no, there's nobody that I. Well, actually, wait, show more. Okay, yeah, nobody's on. Nobody's on. I'm sorry. You guys will have to figure out where to go from here. What is that? Is that a hype? Cox feet? Is that who? Is it Jesse Cox? No, it's somebody else. It is Jesse Cox. Is Jesse Cox on right now? I should probably rate him. No, I'm not going to rate him. Not going to rate him because, I mean, you know, 4.5 hours of talking, and I didn't even take apart a toy today. You know, it's difficult out here. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm prolonging it. I'll see y'all later.